Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. This is not a Tuesday Trucker Talk or a Thursday in case you missed it. This is just a regular old video. I hadn't done one in over a week. And so I figured I would update you guys, let you know I'm still alive. As you can tell by the title of the video, a lot of people were worried about me. And so I've decided to make this my final live stream for this year, for 2023. So, yeah, I'm sick, and we'll go over all that and what's been going on, but no more live streams for 2023. I'm not ruling out a recorded video. You never know. I'm going to go try to clean the truck up a little bit if I'm feeling better and try to get a truck tour video done here pretty soon. But whereas normally a video would be brought to you by Coke Zero or an energy drink, tonight it's brought to you by throat spray and cough drops and water. Yeah, I'm still pretty sick, but trying to hang in there. Some of you have messaged me and you've kind of got the same stuff I do. It really stinks if you do. I've been feeling bad for about 2 weeks now. So I went and did a load Thursday night just to kind of test myself, just one of my little short mail runs, see how I did. I did okay, so I picked up a load yesterday. Delivers 400 miles away in Pueblo, 450 miles away from where I'm at currently in Pueblo on Tuesday morning. So I'm going to be spending New Year's here at the house and trying to heal up a little more. But a lot of you was sincerely worried about me. And so I thought I better do a video and let everybody know I'm still alive and kicking. Before we get too far off the rails here, let me go and say hi to the channel members, the Gorilla Gang as they're affectionately called by some of you. Let's start with the original channel member and work our way up to the newest. We've got Ramon, Robbie Ross, Corey Oatley, Skyhook Trucker, Midlife Trucker, Red Raider Reloading, Randy's Road Life, KC, a trucker named Tim, Smaller Holler, Oser, I think I'm saying that right, Oser DM, Roger Berry, No Fear. Incidentally, those of you that are thinking about becoming a channel member, there's a little button below your screen that says join. Click on that. You can find out how to become a channel member. It costs like $5 a month. I know money's tight right now. If you can't do that, at least make sure you're subscribed and give me a thumbs up. If you want to make it really fun for me while you're on there, come up with a channel name that's hard for me to pronounce. I always like trying to figure those out, but I'm just joking about that. I appreciate y'all being here. I got a couple hours before my wife gets off work, so we can try to do this, pending that my voice will hold up. But you'll have to bear with me if I have to grab some cough drops or spray my throat or something to keep the conversation going. But anyway, let's say hi to some folks that's been waiting a while. Looks like Skyline was the first one in here, and he's been waiting. Oh gosh, it looks like about 30 minutes. Trying to get faster on that. Some of my moderators are going to be upset with me. I did not set the comments to where, let's see here. Let me fix it so I don't get in trouble. There we go. I think I've got everything fixed now. Let's see. Almost there, folks. Little rusty. Hadn't done this in a while. All right, here we go. So we've got Gary Cook is here. Looks like he was second. Thank you for being here, sir. And my friend Red Raider Reloading says, hello, my fellow White Line Fever family. Yeah, it's a lot of us have been sick. I never went and got diagnosed myself. You might remember right before I left out, my wife was sick. We took her to the doctor, and they diagnosed her with flu type B. And then about 3 days later, I had the exact same symptoms. And so I just assumed that I had flu type B. and did the same recommendations that they recommended for her. Right now, I'm pretty well. I still got a little congestion, and my throat hurts a lot, but I'm making it through. It's kind of tough to be Trucker Todd when you've got a sore throat, because so much of what I do requires me to talk, and I've had trouble doing phone calls and stuff. I know I've asked some of you to text me, and let's try to get through it that way. Some of you to email me, and some of you it's still necessary to talk to on the phone. So I've tried to do phone calls as much as I can. I don't know if my scratchy voice is still soothing enough to put you all to sleep, but hopefully those of you that are relying on me for a good night's rest, my voice will still be soothing enough to help you with that. You might wonder why I have AT&T Stadium in the background. The Cowboys will be playing later tonight, I understand. And I also understand that tonight is the night they're going to induct Jimmy Johnson, former coach of the Cowboys, well, a few coaches ago, but a former coach of the Cowboys, into the Ring of Honor. He'll be only the second Cowboys coach to ever be in there behind Tom Landry. And he was, ironically, Tom Landry's replacement. So I always liked Jimmy Johnson, and I'm glad to see him finally getting that recognition. Those that follow the Cowboys closely know how hard it is for Jerry Jones to take the spotlight off anybody but himself. And channel member Skyhook is here. Hello, sir. Channel member Midlife is here. Thank you for being here. And channel member, a trucker named Tim, is here. Channel member, a trucker named Tim, says, everybody please smash the thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Both of these things. Yeah, y'all please subscribe. We're so close to 6,200 subscribers on here. And I'd like it to hit that by the end of the year. Ideally, I'd like it to surpass Instagram. I have about 40,000, or right at coming up on 40,000 on Instagram. And I'd like us to catch up to Instagram, since I promote YouTube a lot more heavily than I do Instagram. Channel member, a trucker named Tim, says, costs nothing but help the show out. Thanks. Yes, sir. I appreciate that, Tim. And No Fear says, hey, everyone. Let me get caught up here. Sorry, I don't mean to cough in your ear. Dawn says, hello, everybody. Hello, Dawn. Jonah Green, good evening, sir. Let's see here. Roger D, Brother Todd, glad you're doing better. Welcome back. Thank you, sir. Let's see here. I'm catching up slowly. High Pressure Pumping, greetings from Northern Indiana. Greetings, sir. And channel member Ramon is here. He's one of the guys. He's been suffering through this flu like I have. And Ramon, are you feeling better yet? Like I said, I'm a lot better. Just my throat still hurts, especially if I talk a lot. Josh McLean says, here I am. I made it. Well, I'm glad you're here. I really didn't know what kind of turnout we'd have. Here it is. Holiday weekend. A lot of you are with family. Some of you are still out on the road. And I wasn't sure what kind of turnout we'd have tonight, especially on an unplanned day, unannounced day. But somebody earlier this week, they're like, hey, Todd, I realize you're putting out community posts when you can't do videos, but could you please just do a video before the end of the year? Let us know you're alive. Let us know what's going on. And I thought, yeah, that's a fair request. I'll do this. It may be a 15-minute video, maybe a 2-hour video. We'll just have to see how my voice holds up. But I appreciate y'all hanging in there with me and all the prayers and concern. And I've never been sick this long before. This is going on 2 weeks, and it's rough. Ramon says, feeling better, I see. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I'm heavily medicated on over-the-counter stuff. I'm taking Robitussin and DM. I got some of that sore throat spray that makes it feel like bugs are crawling in your throat. I'm popping cough drops like crazy. I'm drinking tons of water. You can't see it, but behind my screen here is 3 bottles of water. And I'm just trying to stay hydrated and doing the best I can to get through this. Red Raider Reloading channel member says girlfriend was sick. Then I got sick. Now she's sick again. Merry-go-round of flu. Yeah, it's and I'm surprised I haven't caught a lot of criticism on the internet. I haven't seen the trolls or anybody attacking me for being sick or saying I'm not really sick or something like that. And the only thing I can think is maybe either they're experiencing it too, or they've got some loved ones that are experiencing it or something like that. But this flu type B is what they're calling it. It's no joke. It is no joke. Channel member Ramon, drink lots of Corona with lemon. That's a great idea. I wish my doctor would suggest that. The only alcohol I have here in the house, I've got a little bit of Michelob Ultra, and I've got some Crown, but I don't have any Coke. So I don't drink straight Crown. I'd have to get some soft drinks to mix with it. And right now I'm just trying to hydrate with water and feel better. All right, we're gonna have to block Tim. Tonight is when the Lions kick the Cowgirls' butt at home. LOL. Well, I got to tell you, I'm a little worried about it. The Lions are playing great this year, and the Cowboys, they're not playing bad, but the penalties are killing them, and the defense can't stop the run. If I was the Lions, I would run the whole game on the Cowboys. And if I was the Cowboys this week, I would have been focusing on how are we going to stop the run, because everybody in the NFL knows that we're pretty much unbeatable if we can stop the run and quit making costly penalties. And so, yeah, it's going to be a good game. I'm looking forward to it. But it could be a really sad night for me. Gary Cook says, go Lions. All right, we're going to have to block Gary too. I'm just joking. Nobody block Gary. It's okay to disagree with me. And if you like the Lions, I like them too. I'm a Cowboys fan. Channel member Red Raider, hopefully the Cowboys will show up to play. Amen. Amen, Red Raider. We don't know which team's going to come out of the dressing room, the team that wants to win or the team that are like, we're here. Whatever happens, happens. Ramon, channel member, says he's feeling much better as well. So maybe we're all kicking this flu. And maybe bad 2023 will go away and 2024 will be a lot better year. I saw a survey and something like 60% of truck drivers think 2024 is going to be about the same or worse than 2023. Only something like 26% thought that it was going to be better. I guess I'm in that 26%. I'm just an optimist, and I think things are going to get better. Channel member No Fear says, I'm rolling to California to deliver. Well, there you go. I hadn't been in a while. There's times I wish I could go out there, and then times I'm like, nah, I'm okay. I'm good. And now they got this new deal out there that's tied up in the courts about if they're going to make all trucks that come into California have to be electric by 2025. And it doesn't matter if you're a mega carrier or anybody over 50, basically, any trucking company over 50. It looks like the California Trucking Association, I believe it was, got that stopped temporarily. But who knows what's going to happen with all that. I hadn't covered it because, California wants us to think that they're the country and we're all going to go lockstep with whatever they want. And I get why they feel that way. Traditionally, we do, but I'm not going to allow California's chaos and stupid decisions to control my life. Oh, no. Channel member Tim, trucker named Tim, says he's sick out there on the road in Louisiana. Well, are you sick with flu-like symptoms or are you sick of being in Louisiana? There is a difference. Now, here's a statement I agree with. Lance says, bring back Barry Sanders. Does everybody remember when Barry Sanders, quit the NFL? He just, my recollection, it's been a few years ago, but it's like he just didn't show up. He's like, I'm done. And they're like, where's Barry? But I used to love to watch Barry Sanders play, Emmitt Smith. Those old style running backs were fun to watch. Channel member, a trucker named Tim, says, put that crown in some hot tea. Grandma's home remedy, she called it a hot and toddy. There you go. Yeah, I think all our grandmas had one of those. A little bit of whiskey and some lemon and some honey and usually some tea or something like that. Yeah, those do miraculously help. I've also got some Theraflu in there, some Robitussin. But I think right now I just need to concentrate on, like sore throat spray and stuff like that. Exactly. Here we go. Red Raider Reloading channel member. Give the Cowboys some Imodium. It usually stops the runs. There you go. Well, they needed a lot of Imodium this last game because they had the runs all over the field. Gary Sapp says, I'm betting 3K the Saints will beat the Bucks outright. Good decision. I got to be careful because I'm biased about the Saints. I've never liked the Saints since they did that Who Dat. I always thought that was such a stupid slogan, and I never got into it. So I always find myself rooting against the Saints. But honestly, this year, I haven't followed the Saints or the Bucks close enough to give you an educated guess on that one. Channel member No Fear says, I don't see that happening. Yeah, I don't either. Because they want you to switch your entire fleet by 2025. So say you're Swift Transportation and you've got 12,000 trucks. You're faced with the decision of, do none of our trucks go to California, or does our entire fleet go electric? Because that's California's requirement. And I just don't see how they do that. You're going to ask Swift, even if you ask Swift, all right, buy 12,000 trucks in 1 year. Where are they going to get them? Freightliner, Kenworth, Peterbilt, Mack, Volvo. Who's going to build them 12,000 trucks in 1 year? And even if they could, what about every other company? Every company that has a dedicated run. You think FedEx is going to convert their entire fleet to electric trucks, or UPS or ABF or any of those? I mean, some of them will. But that's a pretty big ask for basically, 2 years from now, a year from now? Because the 2024s are coming out. So I just don't see how they're going to do it. And I think Gary, well, my screen froze. That's always great. All right, we're going to have to hot dog this. I don't have my comment screen, so we'll see what happens. Gary Cook has the solution that I think a lot of trucking companies will take if this comes to fruition. Just stop delivering to California. That will end that. That's true. I think what you're going to see with California is a lot of drop yards get set up on the Arizona border, and companies will pull to the drop yard, and California trucks will shuttle the loads into California, deliver them, and bring the trailers back. Kind of like what happens in Laredo with Mexico and things like that. And so that's what I think will happen. And let's just be honest. And I told Scott this one day when we were talking about that the company I'm with, at least two now, we don't go to California. If the worst thing that ever happens to me in my life is that I can't go to California, I'll be okay. And I think you will be too. If you look at your trucking business and you determine that the worst thing that's happened to you is you can't go to California anymore, I think you'll be okay. Channel member, a trucker named Tim, I got the same thing you do. Well, it sucks, man. Prepared to be down for a couple of weeks. And right now, I've got a sore throat, a little bit of congestion, and my legs hurt and I'm kind of achy. You just don't have any energy. It took all I could do to throw the trash a minute ago. Lance says they did a documentary about Barry not long ago. Worth watching. Yeah, I'd have to check that out. What's it on? Is it on like Amazon or something? Gary Sapp says FedEx volume is down 30% for the year. UPS has announced layoffs at their Louisville hub. It's going to get worse in 2024. Perhaps 2025 will be better. I don't know. I'm still optimistic. One thing that we find is whenever one company starts going down, another company fills in the shoes. And I would think about like Yellow, for example. A lot of people thought, oh, all this stuff is going to happen when Yellow files bankruptcy. It's going to be bad. And it didn't. People stepped up and filled the void. And that's the great thing about free markets is that, none of us are the end all be all. If Trucker Todd, if this really was Trucker Todd's last live stream and I just said, screw it, I'm not driving a truck no more, the trucking industry is not going to stop. That somebody will fill my shoes probably before the end of the day. And the same thing for you and your company. I don't care if you work at the biggest mega carrier in the country. If the biggest mega carrier in the country said, December 31st, we're shutting the doors, we're done, somebody's going to step up and fill that void. Freight's still going to get delivered and the world's going to keep spinning. So, yeah, it's down a little bit. I think some of it is, I think some people are still recovering from COVID. I think financially we're all still recovering. And it was just a bad year. And I think we all agree, whether you're a Republican or Democrat, I think we all agree that elections have consequences. And this next election is going to probably, the economy is probably going to get better no matter who's elected. And I'll tell you why. Let's say that Joe Biden gets elected. He's going to have 4 years and he's going to want to create a legacy. And so things are going to improve because they want to have a Biden legacy. Right now, nothing's happening because the other side don't want the other side to get credit. So the Republicans don't want to make Biden look good. Biden doesn't want to make the Republicans look good. Let's say a Republican wins, and it doesn't really matter. Some of them are better than others. Some of them will work faster than others. The Republicans, same thing. They're going to want to show how bad they thought Biden was. So they're going to come out of the gate running, trying to improve things quickly so they can say, see, the Democrats stink. We're better. But I think either way, things are going to get better after the election. Now, the fix is in, and you can go back to every presidential election. Fuel prices always go down right before the election. And they're doing it now. I saw a deal the other day. Biden's bragging about fuel prices. They're still not as low as when Trump was in office, but they come down miraculously right before an election. And so we'll see what happens. But I'm an optimistic guy. I think people are tired of being sick. I think they're tired of being scared. And quite frankly, I think they're tired of being broke. And I think as people go out and spend money, it'll create jobs, and as it creates jobs, people will have more money to spend. And I'm not saying January 15th, everything's going to be better, but I think towards the mid to end part of 2024, you're going to see things improve a little at a time. It's not going to happen overnight. I would tell you things have already improved for me. This load that I'm taking to Pueblo, Colorado is right at 400 loaded miles, and it paid $21.50. The load before that was 132 miles. It paid $700. So I'm getting some good rates right now, and I've seen some bad ones on the load boards too. I still have to negotiate. I still have to do my due diligence and know what I'm doing, but there is money to be made out there. Some other guys I've talked to that are running the spot markets, they're doing okay right now. Look, none of us are making what we want to make. And it wouldn't matter if freight rates were $10 a mile. We'd still be saying, hey, I'd like to make a little more. Hey, I'd like to, increase my fuel economy. So that's just the nature of business. Business always wants to do better. But I think it could be worse. I think it has been worse. And I think overall we're doing pretty good right now. And I think it's time for a water break. Make sure I'm not missing nothing. I've got one of my phones set up for if my wife gets out of work early, she can text me. Channel member Roger Berry says, hey, I hope you're feeling better. A little better. I'm still not 100%, and I really wrestled with myself if I was going to do this video or not. Several people, I told a few people yesterday, hey, I'm thinking about doing a video tomorrow. And they're like, Todd, take care of your voice, take care of yourself. Just wait till you're 100%. And I said, well, I kind of feel like I owe you guys something. So I wanted to come on here. My Christmas was not great. I still haven't seen my son. He was sick also. I did go to my uncle's. We had pizza and tamales and watched the Chiefs get beat, which was kind of disheartening. And more than get beat, we just saw, Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce have a meltdown on the sideline. And it was a real disappointing game. And so wasn't my best Christmas ever, but it was okay. I did get to see my uncle and his family, and I was still pretty sick, so I didn't get real close to anybody or anything like that. Mostly spent the time at the house trying to feel better and taking phone calls and answering texts and emails as much as I could. Kevin Snipes. Hey, Todd, how's it going? I'm hanging in there, man. I still got a sore throat, but I'm alive. Man, Kevin, you look familiar in that picture. Have I met you somewhere before? You look really familiar in that picture. Channel member No Fear, look at Prime saying they don't have freight with all them lease trucks. Well, I'm trying to think of what I want to say here, because I've been a salesman and I've been a truck driver, so I've been on both sides. But when there's no freight, I don't blame the truck driver. I blame the sales department. And I've discussed this before. I had this discussion with the previous CEO at DART, not the current one, the previous one. And he was like, oh, Todd, we just don't have any freight right now. We don't know what's going on. And I said, I believe it was CEO, maybe it was operations manager. Anyway, one of the higher ups at DART. And I said, well, that's a sales department problem. Those guys need to be knocking on doors, taking people out to lunch, getting freight contracts. And he said, Todd, you don't understand. I get sick of hearing, Todd, you don't understand. He said, for the last 3 or 4 years, they just sat at their desk and the phone rings and they basically took orders. And now they're having to go out and look for sales. I said, so let me translate that for you. For the last 3 or 4 years, they were order takers. Kind of like your drive-through person at Wendy's. People called in, said, I want 50 trucks going from here to here. And you said, okay, we'll send 50 trucks. That's not sales. That's order taking. Now they're having to go out and do their job, and they're not comfortable doing their job. I said, I'd go in there and fire them. If they don't want to sell, you know what you do at the car lots when the lot's empty? You don't go to your sales manager and cry and say, oh, we don't have any customers. They tell you, get on Facebook, get on YouTube, go out and take pictures of car, post them on your social media platforms, draw traffic in, go out and open the hoods on the cars, put balloons out. And so if your company doesn't have freight, it's not because the truck drivers, now in some cases it is, maybe it's service failures or something, or a safety record. But if the phone's not ringing with people needing loads, those salespeople need to be out making sales calls. And that's where the blame needs to fall. And I told that DART guy, I said, I will guarantee you, it's when I worked there. I said, you pay my truck payment for a month. I'll go work in that office for a month. And I said, I bet I'll pick up some freight. And he's like, why? What would you do different? And I said, I just told you, I'd get out and I'd knock on some doors. I'd build some relationships. I'd get some freight. And sounds like that's what Prime needs to do too. For so long, they've been this big refrigerated carrier that everybody went to, but they've gone, they're doing a lot more training. They got a lot more new guys. And I don't know how that's translating in the marketplace. They just need to do some good old-fashioned sales calls, in my opinion. And I know I'm fixing to get attacked probably the next 2 or 3 days from all the Prime loyalists that think I'm being mean or I'm picking on Prime. But it's really true for any company that is having freight problems right now. Channel member Midlife, my truck and a dozen others here are the only ones approved for California under the new requirements here at Cheeseman. Well, it sounds like the California Trucking Association got that temporarily halted. Who knows if it'll stick or not. But from what I understand, if your company has one truck that goes into California, then your whole fleet has to be electric. Now, I don't know if that's just the trucks going into California or if they require your whole fleet to be electric. But either way, electric trucks are ridiculously expensive. And let's use Midlife hypothetically here. I know he doesn't go to California, but let's say Midlife is a California truck driver for Cheeseman. And let's say Cheeseman goes, hey, Midlife, you're a great driver. We're going to give you one of these brand new electric trucks to go out there in. Sure, it's twice as much as our regular fleet trucks, but we don't care. We love our California customer, and we love the professional job that Midlife does day after day for us. So Midlife takes off to California. He gets, let's say he gets to Colorado or Wyoming, somewhere out there. Where's he going to charge his truck? Then let's say he puts along a little more, needs to charge again. Where's he going to charge it? Then he gets to California somehow. And I'm going to assume there's charging ports in California, especially if they're going to mandate electric trucks. Parking is already a nightmare in California. So what makes us think he's going to find a parking spot with electric hookups? I mean, a lot of them are parking on dirt lots on the side of the road and on the side of exits now. All right, let's say that he does find a place to plug in. They're having brownouts out there all the time. What's going to happen when they have 100,000 trucks or more? I'm sure it's more in California. I'm sure it's 200,000 or 300,000 trucks. What are they going to do when all these trucks are hooking to their electrical grid out there? It's going to crash their electrical system. I mean, this is the problem with the blue state logic of thinking. Their ideas sound great. You know, we're going to help the environment. We're going to have all these electric trucks. We're going to create utopia on earth. It sounds great. And we're all like, yeah. And then it's like, oh, we don't have the electrical infrastructure for it. Wait a second. None of the truck stops have put in these charging ports. How long is it going to take to charge one of these trucks? And the trucking company, same thing. Oh, we're not going to have to buy diesel no more. Okay. How much is it going to cost to charge that truck? What about when it needs a repair? How many shops are going to know how to work on it? Hey, here's one. What about when that truck needs new batteries? How much is a new battery for a semi-truck going to cost? I mean, it's all these great ideas that they have that they don't think about. Well, if with every action, there's a reaction. And they think of the action, but they don't think of what the reaction's going to be. If I suddenly have to spend $300,000 or $400,000 on a truck, how much more do I got to charge in freight rates to make money with that truck? Trucking companies too. How much more do they got to charge? If a truck suddenly goes from $180,000 to $300,000, how much does insurance go up? All the things they don't think about. And a channel member, trucker named Tim's, agreeing with me. When the heck are they going to charge them all? Yeah, and they all have great range that I've seen so far, like usually 400 or 500 miles. Some of them are 300, though. Might work great in a regional or a local application, but not going to be great for over-the-road applications. Now, a while back, they were going to do propane, and they even had some propane pumps at some of the pilots and stuff, but that never really took off beyond UPS. And that's what these guys don't understand. The free market takes care of these things. If they can figure out a way to get the infrastructure in place and to get the truck costs down to where electric trucks are a more attractive option than diesel-powered trucks, then they won't have to force it on us. We'll all go do it. Hey, if an electric truck was half the price of a diesel truck, do you think they'd have trouble selling them right now? If an electric truck was the same price as a diesel truck and there was charging ports across the country everywhere, and truck stops were making deals that you get a free parking spot if you charge your truck here, something like that, electric trucks would be flying off the shelves. People would be buying them as fast as they can. But that's why they're not selling. Now, you can look at Tesla, and Tesla's having some financial issues right now. Who wants an $80,000 economy car, which is what a Tesla is? It's an $80,000 economy car. Now, that car gets down to $25,000, and it's now it's throat spray time. You get that car price cut in half, and you have more Tesla charging locations, and you can charge it in 10 minutes instead of, an hour or two, then maybe that takes off. But the free market takes care of those things. If you put out a superior product, it'll sell. You don't have to have the government giving tax incentives. You don't have to have the government mandating it, saying everybody will get one of these. People will be fighting for them if it's a better deal. Channel member Roger Berry headed to Cracker Barrel. I'll catch the rerun on the way to Baton Rouge on Monday. Happy New Year all. Be careful and enjoy. Yes, don't let me forget to tell everybody Happy New Year. I love Cracker Barrel. I wouldn't mind going tonight if I could talk the wife into it. But I think we've got some leftover fried chicken in the refrigerator. I think that's going to be dinner. Tori Ellis says, hey, Todd, I found your channel and you changed my perspective on truck leasing. I've been watching all your pre-recorded videos. Thanks. Well, thank you, Tori. Let's see here. Right now, I've kind of changed my perspective on leasing. Full disclosure, I'm doing a lease purchase right now. However, most of you that's emailed me, I've told you to hold off on doing a lease purchase right now till things get better. Really research the company that you're going to do a lease purchase with. It's better if you're a company driver with them first and you kind of know their system. I still think the best way to get a truck is to save your pennies and go out and buy one from a dealership, so that if you get mad at the place you're working, you can take your toys to another playground. But if I'm never going to discourage you, though, if it's what you want to do. Just know that it's like a marriage. It's a commitment. It's going to be for richer, for poor, in sickness and in health. Right now, it's going to be mostly for poor. And the truck might be running good, but it's going to go through sickness and health. So have some money saved up. Be prepared. And really, no matter how prepared you are, we're all one major breakdown away from going under. You guys might remember a few months ago, I lost to Kenworth, and because of 8 weeks in the shop. And so it can happen to the best of us. But just because something's risky doesn't mean you shouldn't take a chance. And I'm glad that my videos helped you. And I hope you'll continue watching and hang around. Kevin Snipes says it's called Bye Bye Barry on Netflix. I'm going to have to watch it. I saw a short clip from Troy Aikman earlier today about why he got out of the NFL. And the short clip I saw sounded like it might have had something to do with Barry. So I'm going to have to watch that. I don't have Netflix right now, but I think we're about to get it back. Gary Cook says, I parked my trailer and started hauling power only with USA Truck. Doing very well. Yeah, you can do well on power only. It'd be a little hard out here where I live, but depending on where you live in the country, power only can be really good because you don't have to worry about trailer expenditures. Lance says RFK is going to win and both sides will go nuts. LOL. There you go. Yeah, that'd be funny. I don't think so. I really I'm gonna make some people mad when I say this, but I think Trump's the man to beat. Now, I'm not saying he's unbeatable, but I'm saying he's just got such a lead right now. And I believe that some of the other Republican candidates are being artificially inflated by Democrats because I believe that they are afraid of Trump. But we'll see. I was obviously wrong last election, and I might be wrong again. Gary Cook says, I've done more revenue in the last 2 weeks, so I took a break from the spot market. Well, there you go. Nothing wrong with adjusting your strategy. The electric truck for California requires that half of the trucks sold in the state will be electric by 2035. By 2045, the act requires 100%. Well, that's channel member Midlife said that. That's different than what I heard on the radio the other day that said it was by 2025. And so I don't know. Like I said, I haven't been following it that close. As the story develops, I may start jumping into it a little more. It's one of those deals. I don't think it's going to happen. It was on Mark Willis's show the other day on satellite radio that they were saying 2025. He had some guy filling in for him. But we'll see. I just delivered a load into New Jersey from Rochelle, Illinois, paid $3,500 on 850 miles, so I couldn't say no. Yes, sir, I agree with you. Sometimes we have to go to places we don't want to go and do things we don't want to do. A good friend of mine right now is currently on a load that it had 4 stops on it, and he told me the same thing. He said, normally I don't do multi-stop loads, but this one paid so good I had to. So that's smart. The guys that are making it right now are the guys that are having some flexibility. The guys that are struggling right now are the guys that are saying, nope, I don't do that, never. And okay, don't do it. Somebody's hungry enough that they will do it. Channel member Midlife compared to 21 to 23, miles 140, 143.1 compared to wages. Yeah, so Midlife is saying that his income actually went up over the past 2 years by about $3,000. His miles went up by about 3,000 miles. Wages went up about 8,000, so he's doing really good. The question to ask is California able to keep all of those electric trucks charged? Exactly. That's the question that none of them have thought about. And let's be clear about who's making the laws in California. Is it a bunch of seasoned over-the-road truck drivers that have, say, 15 plus years experience? Or is it a bunch of lifetime politicians that probably got their degree in law or something like that, that most of them's never even been inside of a truck or at least ridden in one, that are making these laws? And because they're being influenced by lobbyists and outside groups that are also filled with people that have no discernible trucking experience. And I think we all know the answer to that. Gary Sapp says, congratulations, Tom. You're in the top 20% in pay for truck drivers. Yeah, I've talked about Midlife on here a lot. He does on his YouTube channel. He shows his pay every week, good or bad, and he'll show you the bad checks too. But he runs his truck like an owner-operator. He manages his fuel. He does extensive pre-trip and post-trips. And he's the professional that if we all started a trucking company with company drivers, he's the guy we'd want working for us. And so, it doesn't surprise me that he's at the top 20%. He works at Cheeseman, which he loves it there. I've never heard anything bad about Cheeseman. So he's at a good company. But quite honestly, Midlife, the way he does things, he'd be successful anywhere. Pick your sorriest company in the country, whoever you think that is, and I'd put $100 bill on Midlife doing well at that company. Channel member Midlife, if you want to learn about real world use of electric trucks, look up Run on Less 2023. 3 Tesla semis were used in real world trucking. Yeah, they also had Jay Leno drive one, and you could tell that Jay Leno wasn't real familiar with the trucking industry just watching that video. But that's not a shock. He's a comedian and a talk show host and an actor and an author. But yeah, that's they didn't get Midlife for me out there driving one of those electric trucks and asking us what we thought about it. And they didn't have Jay Leno pulling an 80,000-pound load with it either. Have them invite me or Midlife or a trucker named Tim or Skyhook or somebody like that, or Skyline, or one of us experienced truckers. Have us go hook an 80,000-pound load to it, and then let us give you our opinion of that truck. And don't let us do one trip on it. Let us keep it a month. Let us try to find places to charge it and things like that. Let's see how it really does, how comfortable it is, and all that. Gary Cook says, is the railroad going electric too? That's a great question. You never hear them mentioned. And it would make more sense on trains. It would be a lot easier to set up. They could install a cable above the tracks and make it like almost like subways, where it got an electrical current and the train ran charged while it was going down the tracks. They could do that pretty easy. And it'd be expensive, but it'd be a lot cheaper than creating a whole electrical network grid for all the trucks in the country to run on. Channel member Midlife on cars, Tesla Model S 75, Model 3 is 39, Model X is 80, Model Y is 44. Okay. That's great information for anybody that's considering buying a Tesla. But it really doesn't change anything I just said about the infrastructure not being there, about what kind of car you get for the money, those kind of things. It's still not competing with a gas engine car as far as price. And the thing everybody forgets on electric cars, you still got to pay to charge them. And you can't fill them up in 5 minutes like you can your car at a gas station. You're going to sit there at least 2 hours a lot of times. Shane Lee says, happy holiday, Mr. Todd. Happy holidays, sir. Exactly. Lance says, if a car battery costs $60,000 to replace, then how much to replace a semi battery? Yeah, and I saw a deal. It's been a couple of years ago when I was a service rider for Toyota. The electric batteries that were in the Prius were designed to go 80,000 miles. So let's go back to Midlife's comment for a second. And let's pick the cheapest car on there, the Model 3. Let's say it is $40,000, which is about $15,000 higher than what you could get an economy gas car for. So you pay $15,000 more up front, and for a car that you're going to get maybe 80,000 miles of. Some of it's going to vary based on where you live, temperature, things like that. And by the way, those cars in cold temperatures don't have the range that they do in warm temperatures. So December right now, that battery's not going to run as long on a full charge as what it would in July. So that's another thing to consider. But $40,000 for a car that you're going to have to put a battery in at around 80,000 miles, probably 80 to 100, let's say. And so then you come back down here. Let's say the battery doesn't cost $60,000. Let's cut that in half. Let's say it costs $30,000. How many people are going to pay $30,000 for a battery for a car that's got 80 to 100,000 miles on it? Very, very few. So it becomes a disposable car at that point. Channel member Midlife, too bad we don't have a forum to have discussion on electric vehicles and be able to swap links. Thought about making a Facebook group. Yeah, it just it doesn't interest me that much. Maybe it's my culture from growing up in West Texas. Now you want to go hybrid. My uncle's got a hybrid where it's half battery and half engine. That makes a little more sense. But these totally electric cars, I'm just not there yet. I don't think the technology's there. I don't think the infrastructure's there, and I definitely don't think the price is there. And I know both Toyota, Ford, and GM have all stated that their electric program is not going as well as they thought it would. Some are putting it on hiatus. Some are slowing it down because they're losing their tail on it. The free market is spoken, and the tree huggers don't like what it said. Lance says, Midlife, that's a lot of miles. Never ran 140 a year before. I did when I was at Swift the first time from 96 to 2001, but I was on a dedicated deal where I was home every day. Channel member Midlife, did you know Jay Leno has a CDL? He got it because he bought 2 articulated fire trucks. Yeah, I knew he had a CDL and figured he'd have to have one for Tesla to let him drive that truck. What I was saying was he didn't seem to have a lot of real world knowledge about the trucking industry or about what we do. I'm not denying that he's got a CDL or owns some fire trucks. Gary Sapp says, forget about it. Electric trucks will fail miserably. It's not become fruition. It's a California pipe dream. Yeah, I agree with Gary. Now, it's kind of like self-driving trucks. I realize they want this really, really, really bad. And one day they may get it in 20 or 30 years. Who knows? But it's just not there yet. And I think the problem is a lot of these environmentalists have cried wolf for so long. I mean, we heard in the 70s that we're going to run out of oil. There's an oil shortage. There's an oil crisis. And, they cut the car horsepowers way back and all of this stuff, started making smaller cars. And then they found a reserve in Alaska that had enough oil to supply the United States completely for over 100 years, something like 200 years, if I remember correctly. And that's what keeps happening. We keep thinking, oh, this is the end, and something happens. Now, having said that, I think we ought to be looking for alternative sources, but I don't think we ought to be forcing them when the technology's not there. I'll give you one that most of you will agree with me on. That little black brick on the bumper of your truck. It's a great idea. Wouldn't it be great if something could anticipate accidents and slow you down and protect you and make you a safer driver on the road? Absolutely. I think we all agree it would be. But the technology's not there yet. What's not safe is when it slams on the brakes when you're on ice or going under an overpass or when somebody's getting off on an exit beside you. It's a great idea that's not ready for prime time. They should have never put it on trucks. They should have put it on 10 trucks and kept practicing on a test track until they got it perfected or pretty close to perfected. and it's not there yet. The one on my truck is my truck's a 2017 Freightliner. Works better than the one I had on my 2020 KW. So the older technology was better than the newer technology, in my opinion. And do I think in 10 years or so they'll get the technology perfected? Yes. But the problem we've got now is it'll slam on the brakes. It'll set your dash cam off. Then your dash cam will email your safety guy, and your safety guy will call you and he'll say, "Hey, Mr. Truck Driver, I saw you hit your brakes hard today." And you're like, "No, I didn't." "Don't lie to me, Mr. Truck Driver. I've got that brick on your truck. I know exactly what you did, and I've got camera footage." "No, I'm telling the truth. I didn't hit my brakes. I went under an overpass, and that brick that you're so proud of hit the brakes." "Well, you're guilty because captain of your ship, and you got to be in control." And how can I be in control if you take the control away from me but say I'm still responsible? And that's the question they can't answer. Channel member Midlife says railroad locomotives are electric. The diesel is a generator. I don't know enough about it to debate you on that one. Gary Cook, I'm correct. I agree with you on this one. Remember the trolleys? I think they were electric. I believe they are too, like the ones in San Francisco and stuff. I believe they are electric. Channel member Midlife, Tesla cars have a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty on the battery. The Tesla Semi has a 1,000,000-mile warranty. Okay, well, let me ask you this then, Midlife. If it's such a great product and it's such a great bargain, why aren't they flying off the shelves? Why is Tesla leaving California? Why is Tesla having financial problems? In your world, if they're building a superior product, why isn't it selling? What's holding Tesla up? Lance says in 2008, we're all going to natural gas. I don't see it. Exactly. The only one using natural gas now is like UPS and some stuff. And the problem was range. You had to put such big tanks to get the range that you needed that it wasn't practical. They could use smaller tanks on the UPS trucks because they were out and back, out and back. And I would say natural gas is a better alternative because you can fuel it a lot quicker than you can recharge an electric battery. So I agree with you, Lance. Russell Freight Services finally got my truck from dealership. Had to get a new clutch and transmission gaskets. Now at a shop to see about coolant leak. Have been down a week and a half. Oh, man, that stinks. I hate to hear that. Hopefully they'll get you up and going. So I'm assuming you're at home for New Year's then? Or are you in a hotel somewhere? All right, we're caught up on the comments. We're right at the 1 hour mark. I'm going to remind everybody, if you hadn't had a chance to subscribe yet, please do that. This will give you guys a chance to type comments. If you got something you want to talk about, throw it up there. If you want to be a channel member, hit that join button below the video. If you want to do the free stuff and be able to comment on the videos, become a subscriber. Just hit subscribe, then a little bell comes up. Hit that bell, select all. Click on the title of this video for a lot of other great information, how to get in contact with me, how to support the channel. In the ticker below the screen, it's got my email. It's got my website. Check all those things out if you hadn't done it. We're going to be redoing the website real soon, and there's going to be a lot of new stuff popping up on there. So y'all look for those changes coming after the first of the year. Channel member Midlife, the infrastructure for LPG and hydrogen isn't there. You can find those fuels in every town or city. Okay, but the infrastructure is also not there for electricity. Our national power grid can barely handle what we got on it now. Unless all these environmentalists that are so against power plants and all of that want us to either start using nuclear power or building more refineries and things like that. We don't have the infrastructure. By the way, how do you guys think that electricity gets created? Do you think petroleum products are used to make electricity? Or do you think it all comes from solar and wind? Just curious about that. Hey, we just got a deal here. Midlife Trucker, who's a channel member for 2 months now. It says if you're a member, you get free milestone chats. I did not know that, but thank you for putting that up, Midlife. It's all good. It's trucking, and no, I'm in KC where I live, but I'm headed out. Well, good deal, man. I think if the comments are slowing down as much as I thought they are, we'll probably be wrapping this up pretty soon. I did want to tell everybody what was formerly known as Twitter, now called X. We're now streaming on there too. And as soon as I can figure out Instagram Live, we're going to be streaming on Instagram Live too. So just more ways you can watch these lives. And one of my New Year's resolutions is to make more recorded videos too. So I hope I can do that as well. Mud Truckin' says, Happy New Year, brother. Thank you, sir. Happy New Year. Hope everybody had a Merry Christmas. If y'all want to keep the chat going, we can talk about what y'all did for Christmas. If you had a good Christmas, bad Christmas, maybe you got something cool you were always wanting. Channel member Midlife, solar is only 5%, wind is token, but I'm not a tree hugger. I'm a lifelong Republican. I just love saving money. I had an EV hybrid and plug-in hybrid. Well, there you go. And in certain parts of the country, it might make sense. And I'm not opposed to it. There's obviously a market for it. But out here in West Texas, I mean, I know of 2 charging ports in Lubbock. That's it. Or maybe 1. I think I know where 2 places are in Lubbock. One of them's at Best Buy, and they've got like 4 deals there. Okay, Lubbock has a little over 300,000 people here. Are 300,000 people going to be able to charge their cars at those 4 places? Here where I live, there's a couple of people that have electric vehicles here, and they just charge theirs with an extension cord, which from what I understand takes forever. So for a guy like me that is, I don't drive a whole lot. I'm out on the road. It'd probably work fine for me. Once or twice a year, I might take a long trip. It would stink for that trip. So for a guy like me, it would work great. For when I lived in Tahoka and drove to Lubbock every day to work and back home, it would have been awful. Somebody that does a lot of driving every day would be awful. Now, a hybrid, I kind of get a hybrid. That kind of makes sense. Channel member Midlife went home Friday and rolled Wednesday. I got one of those nugget ice machines for my truck. I've got one at the house. I don't know how well it would work on a truck. I worry about water sloshing around, but I'll be curious to see how that works for you. Russell says, I just don't see electric trucks to be a thing because power grid and the amount of trucks not include 4-wheelers and wait time. Well, here's the other thing, Russell. Think about the guy that does like most of us do, parks his truck at a truck stop, goes home for 3 or 4 days. Where do you think that driver's going to park that truck? He's going to park it in one of those electric spots. Now, think of the hard runners out here that they come pulling in there in the middle of the night. They need to park and charge their truck so they can leave at the 10-hour mark. And there's no parking because all the spots are taken by guys that are on home time. Or Think about these guys, the guys that park their car in the trucker's parking spot, and they go out and do their run and come back, and then they plug their truck in. So you're going to pull in, you're going to need to charge your truck, maybe just for a few hours so you can finish a run. And there's a car parked there, and the guy's not even there. He's out doing a run. And then he comes back and his truck's parked there. Think of how frustrated you're going to be. Or here's the one that'll get every one of you. Imagine when the RVers start parking in the charging slots and you can't charge your truck because there's 3 RVers parked there. This is just going to increase frustration. And again, it's because the infrastructure's not there yet. Tori Ellis, thanks for the advice. Todd, I hadn't made any moves yet. Still learning and watching. That's the way to do it. For over 2 years, I did a lot of asking questions and talking to experienced drivers before I leased my first truck. So you can never have too much information. Russell says, plus, how will the reefers charge without the load getting ruined? Yeah, at some point you would have to. I would assume that in the beginning they'd let the reefers stay on diesel because that's off-road. It's considered off-road. But when you convert those to electric, how big a battery are you going to have on that reefer to be able to run the cooling system? As you know, heat and cooling use more electricity. The things that use the most electricity in your house are the things that generate heat or generate cool. Your refrigerator, your air conditioning, your heater. Imagine that big reefer when you've got it on -10 or -20 with ice cream, and it's working hard in 100-degree heat trying to keep that ice cream cold. That's why I say the guys that are making these rules are not people with trucking experience. They probably hadn't even thought about what you're saying about reefers. Probably don't even have a clue. Local electric trucks seem like a good idea, but not long haul. Yeah, I could see that too, Lance. I could see it working in a local application, maybe on a day cab or something like that. Exactly. It wouldn't be good for cattle haulers as well. And that's the same problem with ELDs, speed limiters. Oftentimes, lawmakers want to bunch us up into one category and do a one-size-fits-all solution. And trucking is so vast that, I always tell guys when they're like, I hate trucking. Well, do something else different in trucking. There's probably somebody in this country doing something in trucking that you would like doing. If you don't like what you're doing, change and do something else. There's lots of opportunities out there. Channel member Midlife, what if we flipped it around? Instead of saying it can't be done, we started thinking, how can it be done? Well, there's already people doing that. And when they come up with something that's a better solution than what the market currently offers, then it'll happen. I mean, that's how the free market works. You don't force an idea on the public and then say, eventually we'll get it good enough you like it. You come up with a product and you say, this is a better mousetrap. This is better than what you've been using. And then people go, oh, that is better than what I've been using. I'm going to switch to that. What do they always say? It's going to save you time. It's going to save you money. When they come up with an electric vehicle that saves me time and saves me money, then yeah, why wouldn't I do it? But we shouldn't put the whole country on hold and kill the economy while they try to figure it out. KC says, hello, gang. He's channel member, by the way. Hey, KC, thank you for being here. Sorry. Racing Ray, my uncle, says in Lubbock, the Overton Hotel has a charging station and also a Tesla dealer. And as you said, Best Buy, that's all I know about. Okay, so my uncle Racing Ray is the one that he has the hybrid vehicle. He loves that vehicle. It's a nice car. I'm not going to knock it. I've rode in it once or twice. I like it. But he's aware of, he does Uber and Lyft, rideshare type stuff. And so he's aware of some of the stuff in downtown Lubbock and stuff that I'm not. He says they do have a charging station at Overton, which is down by Texas Tech Stadium, which is, I believe, called AT&T Stadium as well. And I didn't know the Tesla dealer was here yet. I knew they were wanting to build one. I didn't know if it had came in yet. I think some of the dealerships also offer it. But, yeah, you want to go through misery. Go to a dealership and try to charge your electric car and see if every salesman in the world's not hitting on you to buy another car. That's another thing they used to tell us to do at the car lots when it was slow. Go over to the waiting area and talk to the people waiting on service on their car. Maybe they'll get some bad news and be frustrated about their car and want to trade it in. Or maybe while they're getting their oil changed, they'll be curious about a new model or something. And I never had any luck doing that. Every time I did that, you walk in there and they look at you like, oh, here's the salesman. And they act like you got leprosy or something. Russell Freight Services says plus the, well, we'll get the rest of his comment in a minute. I thought it was this one. Here's Gary Cook. Just like your car, when you run your AC in your car, it draws more fuel. That's correct. Good point, Gary. And we got another plus the. I'm going to try to, here we go. I'll come back to your comment, Lance. Plus the batteries, how would they perform in extremely cold weather? The batteries we got on our trucks can barely handle it. Exactly. Well, that's just, that's an inconvenient fact. Your range is going to go down in colder weather, and it's going to go up in warmer weather. And let's also think about this. When do batteries go out? Do batteries go out when it's sunny and 75 and you're near your house and you're having a great day with plenty of time? Or do batteries go out when it's 7:55 in the morning, you're running out the door, you're going to be late for work, or you got a doctor's appointment you got to be at, and the car's now? They're going to go out at expensive time. They're probably going to go out while you're trying to buy that new house and you don't want nothing on your credit, and all of a sudden you need a multi-$1,000 battery for your car. Channel member midlife, people who buy Tesla cars install a level 2 or 3 charger at home. Tesla have no dealerships, none. You can look at the cars at a showroom, but you have to buy direct. Okay, all of those are interesting details that change nothing. First of all, that level 2, level 3 charger you're talking about, those are very expensive. And I've heard like $5,000 to $6,000. And you're saying people buy those. I'm sure a lot of people do, but not everybody does. Like I said, I know a couple of people right here where I live that they just use an old extension cord and it takes forever. So another thing that you're not considering in that, if you move, you've got to move that charger to your next house. Another thing you're not considering is the electrical load it's going to put on your house and what it'll do to your home electric bill. Another thing you're not considering, if you've got small kids, that's something that they could be around. I mean, there's just a lot to this. As I said, if it's a better deal, and you still haven't answered my other question, if the warranty's so great and the cars are so great, why aren't they selling faster than they can make them? Russell Freight says, what would happen if you're stuck on interstate for 10 plus hours in traffic? Yeah, well, that's another thing that I don't think anybody's thought about. I'm sure roadside service loves it because they're going to have to come out and charge you off or boost you off to where you can get down the road a little ways. They, in an ideal situation, yeah, I'm sure they work great. My wife lives 3 miles from her work. I'm sure it would work great for her. She could drive back and forth to work and, charge it on her day off or whatever. But when she went to Indiana, it'd stink. It'd take her a week to get to Indiana because every 4 hours she'd have to pull over and charge it. But it's just in their utopia, it works great, but in real world applications, it doesn't work so great. And another thing about midlife, he's like I said, it'd probably work great for me. I'm a truck driver. I'm not driving it every day. I'm not doing a lot of long distances. He's driving it to work, going out a week or two, coming home, driving it home. Yeah, it probably works great in that situation. But it's not a one-size-fits-all solution for everybody. Maybe in 10 years it is. Not yet. Midlife Trucker channel member says, Todd, I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm not arguing, just stating the facts. Well, you're stating the facts as you see them. And some of your facts are a little biased, and that's okay. There's a lot of stuff you and I disagree on. That's okay. I like having you here, even if you're wrong sometimes. Teslas are selling faster than they make them. Well, that's actually not true either. But I didn't know we were going to have an electrical debate tonight, or I would have brought you the sales numbers. But all electric vehicles are actually having trouble right now meeting their sales goals and their sales projections. Ford, for example, has quit making the Ford Lightning for temporarily because they were having quality control issues. GM has stopped making the all-electric Blazer they were coming out with because of, for a lot of reasons. Now, they're all intending to start back up, but it's not been all roses and rainbows like you're trying to lead people to believe on here. Channel member Midlife says, how often have you been stuck on an interstate for 10 to 12 hours? A couple of times. I'll give you that it's not weekly, but I think most of us that's been out here has been stuck on an interstate at some point. But let's say it's not 10 or 12 hours. Let's cut that in half or a third. Let's say it's 3 or 4 hours. What do you do? Racing Ray says, I'd stay away from electric cars and plug-in hybrids. They're too expensive and not reliable. By the way, you know I ain't no tree hugger. Yeah. Like I said, and Racing Ray may have missed it earlier in the show. His hybrid like he's got, especially doing what he does, makes a lot of sense. It's pretty cool when you're going down the road and it switches into electric mode and you know you're not burning any gas. Or I'll tell you when it's really cool, when he's parked somewhere waiting on his next ride and the air conditioner still works, but the car's not running. There's some cool things about it. It's comfortable. It's a nice size. It's a decent looking car, but it's not going to work in every application. Hey, here's another one for you guys. I'm going to take Ray's comment down so y'all can see the website. I live in Lubbock, Texas, as you all know. The oil field is very predominant around here. How would a hybrid plug-in vehicle or an electric truck work in the oil field? A lot of times they don't even have cell phone signal out there. They put cell phone boosters on their trucks so that they can even get a cell phone signal out there. You're going to put a plug-in station at every oil rig. You better put several of them because there's lots of pickups coming in and out and hot shots and semi-trucks. It's just not practical. Russell says, I run KC to North Dakota. Imagine being an electric truck in South Dakota and North Dakota. You're in a blizzard. What would you do? Exactly. Hey, here's another one for you. You're up there and the electricity goes out. And I know what Midlife's going to tell me. The electricity never goes out in bad weather. But let's all use our imaginations and let's pretend the electricity goes out. How do you charge that truck then? And before you get on to me about diesel, and well, the diesel pump wouldn't work either. A lot of truck stops have generators, so you can still get diesel. But let's say you get up there, your battery's at 15%. You want to pull over and charge it, and the electricity's out. The charging stations are down because of the weather. And here's something else to consider. How many of us have devices in our trucks? Microwaves, TVs, video game systems, refrigerators, cell phones, tablets, laptops. Those things are also going to be drawing off of the truck while it's being charged. So these charging times, they're telling you, oh, we can charge your truck in X number of hours. Well, that's with nothing plugged in. That's with no draws in it. How long does it take if you're running all these other devices? If you're microwaving Pop-Tarts and watching reruns of the Jeffersons or whatever you're into. Channel member Midlife, if you order a Tesla S or X, the delivery date is January 24th to February 24th. Again, great information, channel member Midlife, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Anybody in here, if you're planning on ordering your new Tesla today, know that you could have it by February. Racing Ray, there's a lot of news stories about Teslas not selling even though they have dropped their prices. Oh, I know, Racing Ray. I've seen that. And that's, channel member Midlife tells me that they're flying off the shelves. They're selling them faster than they can make them. But if that's true, why are they dropping their prices and all this other? Supply and demand would tell us if they're selling them faster than they're making them, the prices should go up. They should even be selling them above stickers, like the Ford Courier, for example. Ford Maverick, for example. Dealers are marking those up several $1,000s because they're selling them faster than they can make them. So I just, sometimes we want something to be true that's just not true. And I get it. Midlife has had great luck with EVs and he loves them and he wants us to love them as much as he does. But they're not there yet. Shane Lee says to me, a Tesla's more like a rich people's toy. Yeah, and I would say it's also become a status symbol, almost like an iPhone. It's a way to show off and say, I've arrived. I've bought an almost worthless vehicle, and I want to show off. I've got more money than you. It's not more comfortable. It's basically an economy car with a big battery in it. But I want to show that, I love the environment more than you do. I'm a better person than you are because I bought a Tesla. And maybe I've got it all wrong, but that's just how I see it. Same thing with an iPhone. I have an iPhone. It does some really cool things. And there's things I like about it. I still think my Samsung was better. I still think my Google Pixel was better. The menus definitely make more sense on an Android than they do on an iPhone. But there's some things that the iPhone does pretty well. Racing Ray says, you're exactly right, Shane. Hey, Miss Mother Trucker, I made a live finally. I was thinking you had skipped out on us. How's things going over there? We were talking about Prime earlier. I'm glad you're here. Somebody had said that Prime was having freight problems right now. Can you elaborate on that? Is Prime having freight problems right now, or is everything A-okay over there? Channel member Midlife says, Todd, you're setting the scenarios to slant the playing field. Maybe, but some would say you're doing the same thing. To say that Teslas are selling faster than they could make them is also slanting the playing field and grossly untrue. It's my opinion. Like I said, if you like Tesla, more power to you. I'm just giving you real world examples of why it won't work for everybody. And the biggest glaring one is the oil field. And before you think, oh, well, that's a small minority, think of all the states that are heavily involved in oil. And it's a lot bigger market than what you might realize. Russell says we're stating the facts. There's more cons than pros for those trucks. I agree with you, Russell. That's I'll say this too. That's what people say when they try to debate me and it doesn't go the way they thought it would. Usually I'm slanting the facts. I'm making stuff up. I'm stupid. I'm dumb. I don't know what I'm talking about. Now, in Midlife's defense, he hadn't called me stupid or dumb yet. He thinks I just don't understand how great they are. He doesn't understand that I've sold them before. When I worked for the second to the last car dealership I worked at, I'm fairly familiar with them. As a matter of fact, the sales were so bad for them that dealership told me, we don't even stock them. If somebody wants one, we'll get them one, but it'll take a few weeks. They said, nobody wants them around here. Now, that's far different than what Midlife's saying. Midlife's saying they fly off the shelves. But I think what my uncle's talking about, Racing Ray, about hybrid vehicles, I think you see a lot more of those being sold than you do the pure EVs. Racing Ray, got to go Uber. Happy New Year, all. Happy New Year, Racing Ray. Channel member Tom Bell. They dropped the price because tax credit is gone January 2024. You're making my point for me. If it's such a great vehicle with such a great warranty and it's such a great bargain, why do we need a tax credit? Why aren't people just buying them? Why do we have to incentivize people to buy one product over another product? Why don't Tesla do their own promos like the normal dealerships do? You know, if Tesla is having trouble selling the Model S or X or whatever it is, you know, have a rebate on it, something like that. Why do we need a tax credit from the government if it's such a great vehicle? Channel member Midlife, no, I don't want you to love them. I just want to discuss facts. Almost worthless vehicle. Isn't that's not tilting a bit? No, for a lot of people, it is a worthless vehicle. There is no practicality whatsoever in me getting a Tesla. There's no way it would enrich my life at all. Now, they get a hybrid. Maybe there's a situation there where it might benefit me at some point, but a totally electric vehicle, I mean, it's basically a big golf cart. If I want a golf cart, I'll buy a golf cart. Okay, here's Miss Mother Trucker's comment. I'd asked her about Prime's, the rumors that Prime's freight has slowed down. She said, we've definitely had a huge slowdown. What do you think's caused it? What do you think the problem is? Channel member Midlife, according to Prime meeting on Friday, freight volumes are probably going to be down the first quarter. Well, they haven't been down for me, but of course I'm doing dry van and they're doing reefer, so there could be some variation there. I just find it hard to believe they're pulling reefers and people still got to eat. But maybe Miss Mother Trucker will have some insight for us. Just to let everybody know, in about 40 minutes, I'll have to leave to go pick my wife up from work. So we'll probably wrap this up within the next 30 or 40 minutes. KC, channel member, why the argumentative room about a topic that isn't taking food off our plate? I missed all you guys for several weeks and want to have some fun. We never know what the topics of the show are going to be. We kind of go with the flow. And tonight we're discussing, we actually started off talking about California and electric trucks and their laws out there, and we kind of morphed into this. I would be perfectly fine moving on to other subjects. But hopefully this subject will come to an end pretty soon. Tesla's only made 36 semis. You won't be forced to buy one. Only two companies have them, PepsiCo and Frito-Lay. Well, that's actually not true, because back to what we were originally discussing, if this California law were to become in effect, we'd all be forced to get electric trucks if we were going to run in California. I bought a RAV4 6 months ago. It's almost bought a Tesla. I like RAV4s. When I was a service rider at Toyota, they'd come in for service, and they're really a pretty good vehicle. Gary Cook, how will they tax electric trucks? Channel member midlife, IFTA would still apply. I don't know how IFTA could apply if you're not buying fuel, but I'm sure they'd find a way. You got to admit the Tesla truck is bulletproof, somewhat LOL. I saw an arrow deflect. I think they're ugly. I watched a movie called Leave the World Behind, and in that movie, the Teslas didn't have anybody in them. They were driving by themselves and then crashing into one big pile with the other Teslas. I don't, and I guess I grew up in a different generation. I remember, well, driving on the farm, I remember driving as young as 7 years old. I'm going to take that down so everybody can see the website and see AT&T Stadium for the game tonight. But I remember driving at a very young age on the farms and not being able to wait till I was 15 and get my permit, and then being 16 and being able to drive legally, not have to worry about the cops seeing me or nothing like that. And now it's like nobody wants to drive. I enjoy driving. The other day when I was sick, I just wanted to get in my pickup and go drive around. I feel better when I'm driving. I was telling Scott the other day about how I feel better just getting back in the truck driving. That sitting in the house is what's getting me sick. I need to get out and work. And everybody's so eager to get vehicles that take the driving control away from them, where they're not in control of their vehicle, or they're not in their vehicle at all. And that's not me. I don't like all these driver assist things. I enjoy shifting gears. I enjoy being in control of the truck. I don't enjoy something hitting the brakes for me. I enjoy being in control. And so it's kind of hard for me to have this debate with people that don't enjoy driving. Racing Ray, every single car you buy costs more because the car companies are subsidizing the electric cars that they build. Yeah, that's true. It's if you've got one department that's making money and another department that's losing money, but the government's kind of forcing you to keep that department open, then you're going to have to get the money from somewhere. It's just like at Walmart. If Racing Ray and I go in there and steal a 6-pack of beer and a candy bar, and we get away with it, we're out in Racing Ray's hybrid, and we're drinking beer and eating that candy bar we stole. Somebody's still paying for that candy bar, and it's going to be all the other customers in the store. Walmart doesn't just write off their theft expenses and go, well, that guy was probably hungry and he really needed the beer. And it's the same thing here. If the government's pushing these companies to build these electric vehicles that percentage-wise very few people want, then, and you say, well, I think a lot of people want them. Well, then why do we have to have tax incentives? Why do we have to have laws like in California where everything's got to be electric by this year? Why doesn't the free market do that? So, yeah, I think it's car companies subsidizing the electric cars, and I think it's government regulation and unions, and I think there's a lot of reasons that there's $100,000 pickups now and $110,000 SUVs and things like that. And I know they're not all that much, but I mean, right now The big three are all having trouble selling their $80,000 and $100,000 pickups. And I think what they're doing is pricing themselves out of the market. Miss Mother Trucker, we're hiring like crazy, and we only have freight for 85% of our drivers. I think they're trying to push out senior drivers because the new drivers don't know what we used to make. Well, there's probably some truth to that, and it's not. I want to be real clear here that I'm not attacking Prime. What I'm about to say could be true for any trucking company. If a trucking company has a Miss Mother Trucker or a Trucker Todd, and they're paying us a wage, and then they've got a guy with 1 or 2 years experience that they can pay substantially less, why wouldn't they get that guy? I mean, it's just like when you order something on Amazon and you're determining what shipping you're going to pay based on how quick you need it. Cost is always a factor. And a company, a lot of times in trucking, one of their bigger expenses is driver wages. And so I'm sure they are, especially in this tight market, looking at that as a way to try to save some money. But it's a shame. The thing they don't think about is all the experience that a Miss Mother Trucker or a Trucker Todd brings to the table. Not just in the truck we drive, but in the knowledge that we can share with other drivers. Racing Ray, you can always get her an Uber. If you're in that area and you want to grab her, let me know and I'll stay live and let you pick her up. Just please don't say where she works on here. We're trying to keep it a secret, but if you want to run by there, that'd be awesome. Just let me know so I don't cut this short. Lance says, interesting movie, Leave the World Behind, even if it's the Obamas. One thing I'll say about Obama, if I met the guy in person, there's probably very little we would agree on. However, he's a great speaker. I mean, you got to give him that. He's a great orator, and when he talks and gives a speech, I mean, you want to like the guy even if you disagree with 90% of what he says. Russell says, Lance, correct. I got to admit, it's a pretty interesting movie. I'll have to check it out. Isn't normal reefer slow down after holiday season and pick up late March? Yeah, but since COVID, nothing's been normal. Everything's been kind of weird. And I think it's been a while since it's hit prime like it's hitting them right now. Skyline says, driving and listening, Todd, I hope you had a good Christmas with your family. I wish you a very happy and successful New Year 2024. I got everything set up for my own truck. Good deal, Skyline. I'm glad to hear it. Thank you, and Happy New Year to you as well. Lance says that's the first Netflix movie Todd needs to watch. Who knows? I may check it out this weekend if I get some free time. Wouldn't it be cool if I watched it and then did a reaction video on it? Lance says positive thing for Tesla is they're not union. Yeah, that is positive. I agree with that. And I want to be clear. I'm not anti-Tesla. I don't care either way, but I'm pro free market. So I just, if Tesla's building a better product, then they'll take over the market. They'll be the number one car company in the United States. And they won't need government subsidies, and they won't need, tax incentives and all of that. They'll do it on their own laurels. And you might remember, some of you that are old enough, this isn't the first time that car companies have come here, and some have succeeded and some have failed. Some of you might remember Daewoo. Some of you might remember Yugo. It's some make it, some don't. And I'm not suggesting that Tesla is like Daewoo or Yugo, but I'm just saying they haven't built a better mousetrap yet. Maybe they get there. Maybe they don't. Russell says, Lance, I watched it to see what the craze was about. The movie, I watched it and I was like, wow, I got it then. I'll try to check it out and make a reaction video about it. For those interested, Prime has a YouTube channel. They live stream the safety meeting every day. Top executives are there. I'll just leave that there. Gary Cook says Obama was a better president than Biden. I think I agree with that. I think Obama and Clinton both were probably better than Biden. I think Jimmy Carter was probably better than Biden. Biden's probably the worst president we've ever had, in my opinion. Channel member Midlife, the new UAW contracts are going to cost $1,500 to $2,000 per vehicle by the end of the contract. Yeah, I'm afraid so. I'm afraid you're right there. I think we're back to agreeing again. Channel member Midlife, my Yugo broke down 3 times before the temp tag expired. Oh boy. I've never driven a Yugo. They come out before I was selling cars, but I saw Jay Leno and Jeff Dunham driving one on YouTube of all places. And I'd kind of forgot about the car. And I thought, man, it'd be kind of fun to have one of those and run around. Of course, they're probably more expensive now than they were when they come out because there's so few of them left. Channel member Racing, or he's not a channel member. Oops, sorry, Racing Ray. He says, what time she get off? At 5, usually. Sometimes she'll be a few minutes late out of that, but usually around 5. Gary Cook says, who remembers Geo, that Chevy had those were good cars? Yeah, I didn't mention them or Saturn because they were really just GM splinter companies, but the Geo Storm, I think it was the Storm or the Metro, one of those two was voted one of the most dangerous cars ever built. I think it was the Geo Storm. Channel member Midlife, know why the Yugo had a rear window defroster to keep the hands warm and pushing. Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's funny. I'm going to have to take the hat off. The head's getting warm. All right. It sounds like my uncle might pick up my wife, so we may be able to keep going here. Remember the Datsun B210? Yeah, I actually know a guy that I believe he still has one. Neat little car. Kind of a station wagon looking thing, if I remember right. Lance says, scary thing about Biden is he might say, wipe my butt, and accidentally push a button on the football. Yeah, I think he's got people watching him pretty close to make sure he doesn't mess up. I think he scares a lot of people on both sides, but they're not going to say that as long as he's in office. Channel member Midlife said he had several Geos. Geos were Suzuki's. Suzuki actually made some pretty good vehicles up until just a few years ago. We looked at one for my wife. It's been 6 or 7 years ago. It was a used one, but it was a something X2, I think it was called, and it was a little all-wheel drive economy car. I liked it, but I couldn't get my wife sold on it. Channel member Midlife, Geo Metro had a 3-cylinder engine. If the AC kicked on while on the freeway, it dropped 10 miles an hour. Yeah, I was thinking back when I sold cars in the early 90s, there was a car, I think it was a Geo, that we had on our car lot, it was a 3-cylinder turbo, and I thought that thing was going to be fast, and I drove it, and it was gutless. Hey, it's everybody's lucky day. Let's jump up to this. Channel member Midlife has gifted 1 Trucker Todd membership. So the way this works, channel member Midlife has bought a membership, and YouTube will gift it to somebody that's been active in the chats. So you never know. Somebody probably here in a few minutes, as we've seen in the past, is going to get a free trial membership for a month. And you may be getting it at the perfect time, because I'm going to be putting some videos out now that I'm feeling better. And so thank you for that, Midlife. What a great New Year's gift to everybody. If any of you would like to do that, down at the comment section, right beside it, there's a little $sign. You can click on that, and it'll give you more information. And we'll see who ends up getting that free gift. If you get a message saying you got that free membership, let me know, and we'll announce it on here if I don't see it. It was my first car, a hatchback. My first car in high school was a 1988 Escort GT. And I got married, and I let my brother-in-law drive it, and he wrecked it, and that car never ran right after that. But I love that car. And even now there's one, it's a little newer than the one I had in El Paso, and I think, man, it'd be nice to have that little car. It was decently fast. It got good gas mileage. And Escort GT, I'm sure some of you didn't even know they made those, but I had a black Escort GT with tinted windows. Lance says Geo Prism was a joint venture between Chevy and Toyota. Yeah, a lot of people don't know back then Chevy and Toyota did a few of those. There was actually, what was that car called? I believe it was a Chevy Malibu back then that was also the same as like a Toyota Tercel. They had a lot of joint projects back then. Gary Cook had an 89 Geo Metro. It was awesome on gas. I wish I still had it. The Geo Metro was classified as a clown car. Yeah. Okay, good news. Thank you, sir. My favorite uncle, Racing Ray, is going to pick my wife up at work. And so we can keep doing the video. Let me send her a quick text and let her know, so that she'll be looking for his vehicle. Ray is going to pick you up at work. I'm still doing a live stream. Period. All right, I'm back. Let's see here. Channel member Midlife, his first car was a 77 Pinto van. Remember the van? Yeah, they technically called it a wagon, but I know which one you're talking about. They look cool with that little window in the back. Now, if you've got one of those, people are putting 302s in them, and they're going for a lot of money. Pintos in general are selling for a lot. Gary Cook says, I think there were 3 vehicles made by Geo: Storm, Metro, and the Geo Tracker. Yeah, the Tracker was kind of a cool little SUV. I think it'd be fun to go play in the mud with one of those, because you could get them with a 4-wheel drive. And when I was a service rider, we had one in the shop, and the drive shaft on it's little bitty. It like your forearm is probably bigger than the drive shaft. It was like cartoonishly small. but I guess it was enough for that vehicle. Channel member Midlife, Geo Metro was the Suzuki Swift, Chevy Nova. Yes, you are correct. It was the Nova, not the Malibu. You are correct. And it was kind of a boxy four-door, if I remember correctly. You are correct. Thank you for clearing that up there, Midlife channel member. Channel member Midlife, Cruising Wagon. Yes, sir. Yours had the 2.8 V6 and a stick. It was probably a pretty hot car for as far as 70s standards go. It wouldn't be nothing compared to nowadays, but back then that's probably a pretty hot car. Yep, I agree. Gary is correct. The tracker is the sidekick. That was channel member Midlife. Yeah, those were, I think they're neat little vehicles. My wife, when I met her, had a, what was that thing? A Kia. It was a little SUV, their small one. And that thing was cool. It had a 5-speed in it, and it was 4-wheel drive and little 4-door SUV. It was a pretty cool vehicle. Whatever the small Kia SUV is. May have to hit the water again. Or, well, let's do a cough drop. My voice has held up better than I thought it would. The thing I remember about the Chevy Nova, I think that was probably the most underpowered car I've ever driven. You had gas on it, and it would take forever to get up to speed. I don't know what the horsepower was on that car, but it couldn't have been more than about 60 or 70. And I bet the top speed on it was probably 65 or 70. Yeah, it was so underpowered, it was almost dangerous. But all right, folks, we can keep going because got a ride for my wife now. So y'all got anything you want to talk about? Throw it up there. We didn't get too much Christmas talk, but if everybody wants to talk about their first car, we can do that too. And actually, what I said was incorrect. My very first vehicle was a 1977 Ford F-150 4-wheel drive it was an all-time 4-wheel drive 400 engine. And that truck was bulletproof. And we would take that thing out and do some crazy things with that truck. I had the time of my life with that thing. I wish I still had it. Channel member Midlife, trucking is really management. We manage 5 clocks, shippers, receivers, shops, dispatchers, equipment, and ourselves. That's a good point. Sometimes I do it better than others, but I get through it. Now let's see here. So somehow, I don't know how I did that. Somehow I managed my wife and one of my other phones at the same time. That message that y'all heard me send on air. Channel member Midlife, I love this career field. The first 20 years I did it, I didn't really care for it, but the last 4 has been a lot of fun, and I'm finally starting to appreciate it and like it as I meet you guys and help people out here on the road. Before I read Midlife's comment, let me preface it by saying this. This is a good way for those of you that want to do a lease purchase. This is a good way to kind of test drive it. Give yourself some practice before you do it. See if you've got what it takes. Channel member Midlife says, I always try to beat the numbers from the week prior, whether mile per gallon, safety, wages, etc. So if you're thinking you want to lease a truck or buy a truck, and you're currently a company driver, try to beat your mile per gallon numbers. Know what your numbers are. Try to be just a little safer and do those kind of things. Try to buy fuel wisely, things like that. And kind of give yourself some practice and see if you can do it. That I have no doubt. And, we've spent most of this live of me and Midlife debating different things. But I mean it sincerely. If Midlife ever wanted to become an owner operator, I believe he'd be a success anywhere he went. If he called me and said, hey, Todd, I'm going to buy a truck and I want to come over there and lease where you're at, he'd get my number. He'd get a recommendation from me. I'd say, yeah, I think you'd be great because of his approach to the business and his knowledge. We don't agree on every single thing, but I think we're still friends. I still think we respect and appreciate each other. And I think he'd be great, but I don't think he'll ever do it because he's got a pretty good deal right now. I think he's pretty happy doing what he's doing, but I have no doubt that he's got the knowledge and the wherewithals to do it if he ever wanted to. Channel member Midlife, I got 8.85 over 1,000 miles, grossing 75,000. Keep in mind, we don't have any fairings on our trucks. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Right now, a lot of fuel surcharges are over 50. So, even if you was doing a mega carrier lease, you'd make money off the fuel surcharge. So you're doing everything right for sure. Or I shouldn't say that. Nobody's doing everything right. You're doing a lot of the things right that you typically like to see in someone that would be successful. And so, yeah, I got a lot of respect for you. Even though I don't always agree with you, I got a lot of respect for you. You've definitely got a lot of knowledge and cool videos and things like that. All right, the chat is really slowing down. If you guys don't have anything else, I'll get off here. And I may still be able to pick my wife up at work if my uncle hadn't headed that way. Let's see, channel member Midlife. I was running 65 to 67, keeping the RPM below 1150. That's the way to do it. That's the way my Kenworth was. This Detroit and this Freightliner I've got now, it's a higher revving engine. Even at like 65, you're doing like 1,400 RPMs. Hey, my friend Ted Van Buskirk is here. Hello, sir. Glad you are feeling better. Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Thank you for being here. I still got a sore throat, so we got the throat spray and the cough drops. And instead of drinking soft drinks, we're drinking water, but I'm still here alive and kicking. I got the Cummins X15 with the Eaton 12-speed automated. Yeah, that's not a bad setup. All right, we've hit the 2-hour mark and the comments have all dried up. I don't guess it gave out that membership yet. I was hoping we would see who it did on air. The people watching must not be people that comment a lot. It gave it to RPG. RPG, congratulations if you're still here. Oh, no, change it again. RGB, there we go. Third time's the charm. Yeah, I hate that. that dang iPhone's real bad about changing your words. Ted says, I'm looking to go back on the road, need a lease truck. Ted, if you want to call me after the show, I'll try to help you. The first question I'm going to ask is kind of a personal one. I don't want you to answer it in here, but we need to talk about your finances if you've got any money to put down. If not, if you don't have any money to put down, you're probably going to have to do a lease purchase with a company. If you do have some money to put down, I can shoot you to a couple of dealerships. It won't be Cordell and Dubuque, Iowa, but it'll be some others that I've talked to and know some things about. And we'll try to help you get a plan of action. Just call me either after the show or sometime in the next few days, and I'll try to help you figure it out. Okay. Lance says he's going to have his old Cascadia for sale here shortly for $20,000. All righty. Well, let us know when it's ready, and we'll tell people about it on here. Maybe somebody will buy it up. B Feline Maximus, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Feline. Thank you for being here. 2016. Mine's a 17. I believe Cash is King. I believe his is a 16, so it's probably real similar to his. Gary Cook, have you seen your Corvette since you sold it? No, the guy that bought it lives in, well, I don't want to give his exact city. He lives east of Dallas, which is a little over 400 miles from me. And he had a car just like that in high school and had wanted another one. He's going to baby it. It was falling apart when I traded for it. So it's going to spend a lot of time in his shop. And I'll be surprised if I ever see it again. I'd like to, and but I don't know if I'll ever see it again just because of the distance he lives. Now, if he lived in Lubbock, I'm sure I would, but with him living so far away, I doubt I'll ever see it. Channel member Midlife says, I tried 2 leases over a 24-week period. I know about one of them, but again, and I may disagree with you here, I would not say you failed at it. I would say you were successful at it. You may not have liked it, and I would say that you got out of it because you didn't like it, not because you couldn't do it. I'm just saying, with your knowledge, I think you could do it at any company. Now, I'm not saying you'd be happy there, but I'm just saying your approach to the business, I think you would do good anywhere you went. Todd Madden, I think it'd be it'd be cool to have a Trucker Todd football video game like Madden had. Ted Van Buskirk. Okay, thank you, sir. I might look at lease purchases. Yeah, again, it's not the ideal situation. But I want to talk to you off air anyway and find out about the place you're working now, what's going on over there. I think I know, but I also want to ask you how your friend's doing. Been praying for him. So I kind of want to talk to you off air. Let's see here. 9-week at Arter's walkaway lease, 15 weeks at Christensen. Made good money at Arter, but I wasn't happy with all the uncertainty. Christensen, I made $1,600 per week. Yeah, so in both of those situations, you were successful. You just weren't happy there. That's you're proving my point that you can do it anywhere. You got the knowledge and the know-how. It's just finding a place that checks all the boxes you want to check. Channel member midlife. I wasn't happy. I rank it culture, home time, equipment, compensation in that order. Gary Cook wants to know when midlife leased at Arter. You know who everybody went crazy a few years ago talking about Travel Loco, but you don't hear nobody talk about them anymore. And I think they're still around, aren't they? Channel member midlife, June and July 2022. Channel member midlife, I ran into one last week. What's your opinion on that, midlife? Because this is one I can't argue with you on. I don't really know. What do you think of why we don't hear Travel Loco like we used to? You know, they were the bee's knees for a while. It's where everybody wanted to work. They were the new up and coming thing. I know why we don't hear about Cloud Trucks anymore, but I don't know what the deal is with Travel Loco. Channel member midlife, I ran into Travel Loco driver last week. Yeah, I would just be curious what happened there. P.U. Patel says, I was also leased at Arter, but left when all the changes were made when Trucker's coach was there. Yeah, so here's what I've always heard, and maybe P.U. Patel can tell me if it's true or not. I've always heard that Arter was a really, really good deal, and that it was like too good of a deal, and that because of some outside influences from other drivers, Arter decided we've got to make some changes, and Arter made some changes, and the drivers didn't like the changes, and a bunch of them quit. Is that basically true? Huh. Channel member midlife, we don't hear about them because the YouTubers moved on. So they were just a flash in the pan. That's when I was at Arter. I didn't last long there. Too much micromanagement. That was Gary Cook. Okay. Lance says, did you lease with Landstar? Nope, I am with SRO Logistics. And been here for a while now, since probably 6 or 7 months. At no time in my 27 years of driving have I ever considered Landstar. I do know people that are happy there, and I know they've got some loyal people working for them, but I just believe that their pay structure is too confiscatory. I do pull some of their loads. I've pulled 2 of their loads this month, but I'm pulling those loads at 80% instead of 65%. Channel member midlife, the guy I was talking to is quitting. He's going to the major company with red trucks that doesn't lease but kind of does. They call it a sale. Okay. I know where you're talking about. I've been hearing a lot of good things about that company. That's not a bad place to go. Absolutely. I was one of them. Okay. P.U. Patel, Truckers Coach and Gang, spoke about the savings lease drivers were making when using their own fuel card. Arthur didn't like that, and that's why they made all the changes, in my opinion. Yeah, maybe. I would be suspicious of any trucking company that had a problem with you using your own fuel card. And I'm kind of in a weird spot. I don't have a problem with them making money off of it because they've got some administrative costs. But to tell you outright you can't use your own fuel card seems kind of strange to me. Channel member Midlife, my dispatcher in Poland wanted me to take Cartacay Road in Elijah. I had to explain that blue lines are rivers. Oh boy, that's funny. That is funny. Gary Cook says, I believe you have to have hazmat to lease the Landstar. You do, and I used to. I used to have hazmat. And if that was the only barrier to entry, I could go get my hazmat, no problem. But 65% is excessive in my mind. I've had varying results dealing with Landstar agents, as they call them. And I've never had an interest to go there. I know it's where all the cool kids go, but I've shared on this channel. I know, a lot of people think Landstar is a golden ticket and that you're guaranteed success if you go there. I know a guy right now that lives less than a quarter of a mile from me that has lost 2 trucks this year while working at Landstar. He's on his 3rd truck. So there's no guarantee of success at any company. Every company's kind of what you make it. But 65% is a no-go for me. Channel member Midlife, I used my own cards the whole time there. Had XPO, RTS, Mudflap, and PSD. Yeah, and they put the kibosh on that, didn't they? Yeah, Landstar agents can be a pain. Overall, it's not bad for me. Well, I'm glad you like it over there. It's, different strokes for different folks. But and people at Landstar always tell me, well, Todd, you don't understand. I'm getting these great paying rates. I don't care if Landstar's getting 35%. I'm getting $4 a mile. I'm getting $5 a mile. And I'm going, yeah, but look how much you would make if you were getting 75, 80%. Channel member Midlife, did you see my video on to see all the inspections, violations, and accidents for a carrier? I have not seen it. I know how to pull the Safer report, and I've actually done videos about that. I typically use that kind of stuff when I'm looking at a company and considering working there. The rest of the time, I don't get on there a lot unless somebody asks me to look up a company or something, just because I'm happy where I'm at. I mean, I have no complaints. I don't see a need to go look for another company when I'm happy where I'm at. Gary Cook, 88% here at Advanced Trucking. Yeah, I've heard good things about Advanced. I did talk to them prior to SRO, and I think they made it to 3rd or 4th on my list. The problem I had with them is to do their lease purchase. It was before I had the Kenworth. They wanted me to either be dispatched by Prime or to run the load board at USA. And neither of those options got me excited. Prime wanted me to stay out 2 to 3 weeks at a time. And USA openly admitted that they didn't have a lot of West Texas freight, so it'd be hard for me to get home. Channel member midlife, go just beyond where you went on safer. All right, I'll check your video out when I get a chance. Channel member midlife, I'm not suggesting you look for a carrier. It's a tool when vetting a carrier for a viewer that asks questions. Your video showed out of service. I just carried it further. Yeah, I did it. I did just that safer page. I'll go back and check out your video, and who knows? I did that video a long time ago. It may be time to do an updated one and kind of see. All right, what else y'all got? We still got about 29 in here, which I'm real pleased with. It just shot up to 31. I didn't know how many we'd get right here at New Year's like this, but I appreciate all of you being here. If I hadn't said it to you yet, Happy New Year. Here's to hoping 2024 is better for all of us. If y'all got something you want to talk about, throw it up there. Let's finish this year at 6,200 on here. Y'all make sure you're subscribed. Lance, does your carrier take guys with their own dry van? Let's see. Yes, they do. And it doesn't have to be a dry van. He had a flatbedder for a while. And so I think he's got a reefer person or had a reefer. I don't know if he's got a reefer person or not, but when you email Scott, his email's down in the ticker below. He can talk to you about that. I think he does pay a little extra if you've got your own trailer. So that'd be a good deal for you, Lance. His email, because I know the ticker's slow, is safety@srologistics.com. But it's down there. Holler at him and talk to him about your trailer and everything, and he can sure talk to you about it. Channel member midlife, I'm two of them. Oops, I skipped one. P.U. Patel, Todd is $38K for a 2019, 619,000 mile. It's an old. It's really hard to tell without seeing the truck. And I mean, in person, pictures can give you an idea. I always hated that. Well, I hate it now. If you call a dealership and you start talking to them about a vehicle and they say, you got a trade, and you say, yeah. And they try to appraise it over what we call appraise it over the phone, or whatever you're selling. They go, oh, it ain't worth that much. I'd really want to look at it before I said yay or nay. But I would say in that case, not necessarily. It depends on condition. It depends on maintenance records, what they've done to it. I mean, a lot of things. But it's real hard to, without even seeing a picture of it, of the outside and the inside, and without looking it over, crawling underneath it, there's a lot of things that it's really hard to tell. Also, region can matter. I'd get on truck paper and look at other trucks in that area that are comparable and kind of see what they're going for. And that'll kind of give you a basis to compare it to. Ted says, Happy New Year to you and your family. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. By the way, the new solar-powered headset, I'm using it, and so nobody's complaining about sound. I'm assuming it's doing well. If y'all want a solar-powered headset so you don't have to constantly be plugging it in every day, click on the title of this video, and it'll be in the description there about the website and everything. And if you use the coupon code, I believe it's Trucker Todd. I believe that's the coupon code. It'll say it down there. It will give you 20% off, which saves you about $50. Puts it right in the $200 range, makes it real comparable with the prices of the truck stop models. But a lot better headset, a lot better quality, and more convenient since it's basically never goes dead. Channel member Midlife, the problem with percentages and cents per mile is we don't pay our bills that way. Compare weekly average net to the truck, 65%, 72%, 80%, 88%. Can all be good. As you've said, you're a good negotiator. Yeah. And you know, when somebody says I'm getting 80%, I always say 80% of what? If you don't see the rate cons, you don't know for sure that you're really getting the percentage that your company says you're getting. And if it's a company one guy told me his company makes a rate con and send it to him. No, you want the original one. And the way I'm set up, SRO Logistics doesn't even see the rate con until after I've signed it and turned it into the broker. So there's no funny business going on there. There's no way that SRO Logistics can rip me off or lie to me about what I'm getting paid, nor have they tried. I want to be honest about that. I'm not aware of one single instance where they tried to stick it to me or take advantage of me or not pay me something they owed me. We've had payroll mistakes, but they usually fix it. Usually the same phone call. He's like, all right, can I put it on the next check? And it's done. In a couple of instances, he was able to cancel the other settlement and redo it, and it got fixed right then. Just depends how quick I catch it. But if you're at one of these companies that, oh, we pay 88%, but you can't see the rate con, I wonder if you're really getting your 88%. And if you're at a Landstar company where it's going through agents, you're not getting the full 65% because Landstar's getting it, and then the agent's getting it, and then you're getting it. So it's getting chopped down a little bit along the way. Channel member Midlife, your 80% could be higher than some super egos 88%. Well, I know it is in a lot of ways, and that's what I say. SRO Logistics, their deal is, I don't want to call it misleading. Let me think how I want to say this. He covers a lot in that 20%. So the 80% I'm getting is really a lot more. Like he covers ELDs, he covers cargo insurance. There's a lot of, I get 100% of the extras like detention, layover, things like that. So it's a very, very strong 80% I'm getting. Very strong. So I don't mind paying the 20 at all. I tease him now. We joke and I'll say, like he'll call me, he'll be like, hey, you need anything? Yeah, I need 90-10. I need 95-5. One time I told him I need 99-1, and he'll laugh and he'll be like, all right, I'll consider it. Nope, not doing it. And so he knows I'm joking, but I've never had a serious discussion with him where I'm like, hey, Scott, this 80%'s not fair. I feel like I should be more. Your 20%'s too much. I've never had that discussion because I feel like it's fair, and I want him to make money because why? If he's making money, the paychecks aren't going to bounce, and the insurance is going to get paid, and you know he'll be able to afford trailer maintenance when it needs to be done, and so I'm perfectly fine with him making money. Now, if he calls me tomorrow and says, "Hey, we're going to copy Landstar, we're going to go to 65%," then that's probably not going to work. But in the current agreement I have with him, I'm very happy with how things are going. And if I do feel like I need a raise, then I need to negotiate better. I need to pick better loads. That's what he asked me in orientation one time. He's like, hey, what are we going to do the first time that we have an argument? I said, I'm probably going to apologize because the way this is structured, more than likely the problem's going to be me. And he's like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, well, I'm dispatching, I'm negotiating. If I don't like where I'm going, I'm the one that sent me there. If I think the load didn't pay enough, I'm the one that picked the rate. So if I don't like my truck, it's my truck. Fix it. And he's like, oh, I see what you're saying. It's like, I mean, unless the only way I could get mad at him is if A, he started micromanaging, which he's never done, never come close to. Or B, if he messed up on my paycheck and said, I'm not going to pay you for that, then that'd be the only way that anything could be his fault. Everything else is, the way this deal is set up, is my fault. So it's, there's probably not going to be that big moment where I'm going, oh boy, this company's bad. Here's why. If something's bad here, it's because I made it bad. And that's both fun and kind of nerve-wracking at the same time, knowing that you're making all the decisions. So if something goes south, you don't have nobody to blame but yourself. Lance says, how do you get your loads? Different load boards. So I have several load boards that I regularly use. All of the click and goes you'd think of, plus I'm on the DAT board. And then I write down every load. And if I'm in an area and I'm having trouble finding something that pays good or that I like, I call that broker that I've hauled for in the past. And I'll say, hey, this is Todd. I'm with SRO Logistics. I talked to you a while back. I hauled that load back in whenever it was, 3 weeks ago or whatever, because I've got the dates and everything there. I went from here to here. I really enjoyed working with you guys then. And I was just checking if y'all had something where we might be able to work together again. And they'll say, oh yeah, I remember you. You did a great job for us. And they say, what are you looking to do? Well, right now I'm really trying to get to Texas for New Year's, or, you know, I don't care. I'm just looking for something decent to get me out of this area. And, you know, I called a broker the other day. He said, oh yeah, Todd, he said, we've got some mail loads up there that are about the best paying stuff we got. He said, let me go to work and see if I can get you one of those. And he called me back about 30 minutes later. He said, well, they've swapped all those up. But he said, next time you're up in this area, holler at me and I'll try to get you one. I got another guy that he has about 6 loads a week, or he did have. He hadn't had any here lately, that they run right back here to West Texas. So I'll call him about a week and a half out before I'm ready to go home. And I'll say, hey, I think his name's Tim. I'm going to call him Tim for the purposes of this video. And I'll say, hey, next week I'm trying to get by the house. You got anything going that way? And he'll say, let me look. And he'll kind of look around the country and he'll say, oh, I'm going to have something out of Des Moines going that way. And I'll say, all right, let me see if I can book something to Des Moines, and then I'll pick up your load going home. And so it's what you hear guys say about the best loads never make it to the load boards. That's kind of true. You want to build relationships and you want to get known by these people. And I've had a couple of them. I'll hit them with a rate and they're like, oh, I don't know if we can do that, but let me see since it's you. And they'll go talk to their boss and they'll come back and they'll be within $50 of what I wanted. And this one I just finished, they were within $100 of what I wanted. Let me think about that a second. No, they were within $50. I told him I wanted $2,200 and he come back at $2,150. So, you know, it does happen. And that's kind of how I do it. Channel member Midlife. Ritchie Brothers auction lots are filled with trucks. I passed 2 recently. Auction is end of February. Yeah, I saw that. I went by one too somewhere, and there was a lot of semis in there. And you got to think that probably like in February or so, that February, March, that used truck prices should continue to come down. Channel member Midlife, even without scamming, a carrier with really good contracts or good negotiators like you will get higher rates. Yeah, and sometimes, I mean, let's talk about Swift for a second. Swift's big selling point, when they contacted a shipper, we got 12,000 trucks. We've got, I don't know how many trailers, 80,000 trailers or whatever. When you need us, we can be there. And that's their selling point. So if a shipper, whether they like Swift or not, if they got a bunch of loads that need to be moved and they're having trouble getting them covered, guess who they're going to call? And then Swift can say, well, I know you normally get $2 a mile for that load. We're going to need $2.25 because it's a crisis situation. You're needing us right now. And that's their bread and butter. That's what they were. And then they go in there with their guys and they go, well, we could dedicate 50 trucks to you and take care of you consistently if you'd like us to. And that's how they get the Walmarts and the J.C. Penney's and the accounts like that, the Costco's and things. So everybody's got their thing that they do. If you're a small truck, one operation like I am, it's, hey, I'm going to let you put a tracking app on. When you call, I'm going to answer the phone. I'm going to be accurate when I tell you I'm going to pick up a load or when I'm going to deliver a load. I'm going to be accurate. And for example, this load that I'm on right now, I told them I'd pick it up at 3 p.m. They called me at 1 p.m. and they said, hey, we know you told us 3 p.m. Is there any way you could pick that up earlier? The shipper just called and said they'd like us to get it early if we could. I said, yeah, I'm an hour away. I'll head that way now. They like that flexibility, that mobility. I didn't gripe and go, hey, I told you 3 o'clock. Why are you calling me? That's not going to do nothing. It helps me out. I picked the load up early. I got to come home early. I'm going to spend the weekend here. I'll leave out Monday morning and go to Pueblo, Colorado. And so that broker's going to remember that, hey, this guy's easy to deal with. He's not going to give us grief every time we call. And when they call, I'm not like, hey, what do you want? I'm like, hey, how are y'all doing? What's going on? And so they like, what would you call it? A cheery disposition or a happy attitude. Your attitude, just walking in these shippers with a smile on your face. Hey, how is everybody today? Instead of, here's my load number. I bet this is going to take all afternoon. That nobody wants to deal with a sour guy. Walk in there, don't even mention the load. Hey, how's everybody doing today? Did y'all have a good Christmas? Y'all got anything planned for New Year's? Or y'all going to get to close for New Year's? Something like that. And so I usually make a comment like they got a lot of paperwork on their desk. And I was like, man, that looks like a nightmare. How do you do it? And they're like, oh, well, we got this file and then we do this and that. Oh, that's pretty cool. Did it take you long to figure it out? No, I caught on real quicker. Yeah, it took me a few weeks. And you just kind of break the ice. And then when you're sitting there, they're like, man, I hate to make that nice guy sit there. You'd be surprised how those little things make a big difference. Gary Cook says at Advanced Trucking, I get to see the actual rate con. Advanced doesn't sign the rate con until I approve it. Well, then, in Gary's case, Gary is getting his true percent. There's no way that Advanced could trick him, deceive him, nothing like that. So whatever his percent is, his 88 or whatever, it's actual. The next thing I would look at in Gary's deal is his fixed cost and see if some of them are out of line. I know from past experience looking at Advanced, they're all pretty straight up. Their truck payments are a little high, but that's to be expected. They're nice trucks. So, Gary, I would feel pretty comfortable saying you've got a pretty good deal then. A trucker named Tim, channel member, how about those electric vehicles? Skyhook Trucker wants to know more. No, you guys just want to see me and Midlife fight. And you know what? You know what's going to happen? Midlife is probably going to come to a truck show somewhere, and I'm going to buy him a hamburger. And y'all are going to be disappointed because y'all are going to find out that we really get along and are friends. We're kind of like me and you, Tim. We got a few little subjects we disagree on, but Midlife's like you. He can argue articulately and not get mad. So we have a good time. We'll debate for a while. And I really like the guy. I hope I get to meet him in person one day. Channel member Midlife, even if there was an issue that he would not fix, not suggesting he would, you still have to evaluate the entire situation. I once had a director quit over a future $5 or 5% pay cut. Yeah, you're right. It's all in it's all in perspective and what the issue you're debating is. If I have quit a company over $50, and then I have stayed at companies that rip me off substantial amounts of money. It's it all depends on the circumstances. But from what I know about Scott and the way he's wired, I mean, I don't believe that he would intentionally do that. Now we may reach a point somewhere where he doesn't feel like he owes me for something, and I may feel like he does owe me for something. And I can't imagine what that'd be because the contract kind of covers that stuff pretty well. But if we ever reach that kind of point, then I would have to take a step back and look at it. And if there's any part of me that can see it from his perspective, then I've got to drop it. I've got to move on. You don't quit a company over one little thing. Now, if it's something big, if it's he triple charged me for fuel, and he's like, yeah, Todd, I triple charged you, and I'm not changing it, and there's nothing you can do about it, then yeah, I'm probably going to quit over being triple charged for fuel and him not fixing it when he knows it's wrong. But he's not wired that way. When I tell y'all he's an honest guy, he's an honest guy, and he's never tried to get out of paying me. I've called him. Well, I told you the story about the time I called him and I said, hey, Scott, I don't see this on my pay. And he's like, well, I thought I paid it. Let me take a look. He didn't be like, well, I'm not going to pay it. Or, he wasn't looking for ways out. He was like, let me find it. And it took him about 5 minutes. And he's like, all right, it's on page 2. It's in this column. It's right here. I said, well, let me look. And sure enough, it was. I was like, man, I missed it. I'm sorry. And so we haven't had any of those issues where, I felt like this guy's looking, you work for some guys and you're like, this guy's looking for a way to get out of paying me. And I've worked for companies like that. I've never once got that vibe from him. Now he don't want to overpay me. If he don't owe me, he don't want to pay. But if he owes me, he wants it to be right for his records. There's one time I found a $3 error. I think it was like $3.45. And I called him and I was like, hey, we don't want to fix it. I just wanted to let you know there's an error. And he's like, oh, no, I'm going to fix it on your next check. He's like, I want my records to be right. And so I wasn't worried about the $3.45 or whatever it was. But he, being the detail-oriented, meticulous guy that he is, he wanted the numbers to be right. And he insisted on fixing it once he knew there was a problem. Now, some of these companies that some of you guys work for, and I'm not talking about Midlife's company, but there's companies out there that they'd have pocketed that $3. They'd have said, it's only $3. And they'd do that to, 1,000 drivers, and that'd be money in their pocket. But it's a little reassuring knowing that you're working for an honest guy, and if there's a problem, they want to fix it probably more than you do. Gary Cook, did the Kenworth end up back on Cordell's lot? I don't have any knowledge or information. I haven't talked to him since the final time that we talked. And I know it's not at Peterbilt anymore. I was over in that area the other day getting diesel, ironically, because there's a Yes Way right across the street. And the truck is not there no more, but I don't have any knowledge of where the truck's at or what's happened to it. And I haven't had any contact with them since then. Channel member Midlife, communication with the broker, that's like customer service. Yeah, it really is. And a lot of drivers don't view it that way. A lot of drivers think, the broker works for me and he wouldn't have a job if it wasn't for me. And they get the big head. And the truth is, it's a reciprocal relationship. They're your customer and you're their customer. And if you can, I'm not suggesting kiss butt, I promise. But if you make a friend in the deal, make a friend in the deal. And then when you need a load or something, they may have something, or they may be aware of something coming up that hadn't been posted yet. And You didn't do nothing but do your job, and it doesn't hurt. Hey, I've had, if they call Scott and say, hey, that Trucker Todd's a pretty good guy, that looks good on me too. And, maybe if the jury's out on me and Scott doesn't know if he likes me or not, maybe a phone call from a broker that goes, hey, we really enjoyed working with that driver. He did his status calls on the tracking app. He emailed us the POD in a timely fashion. Everything was like we asked him to do it. We wouldn't mind working with him again. And then he can pass that information on to me, and I can put a little star by their name in my notebook. And next time I'm in that area and need something, I can give them a call and talk to them. And other way around, if I had one that they called me like 6 times in an hour, and it was different people in the same office. Hey, we're needing to get a status update. What's your ETA? What's your PTA? What's your this? What's your that? And I just I was nice to them, but I put a note in there. Hey, I don't want to work with these guys anymore. No need to burn a bridge. Just they'll be a last resort company. There's another one. While I'm talking about that, let me go back to this comment. There's another one that they have horrible rates. If I said the company, you'd know who they are. It's 3 initials. And every time I call them and ask about a load, it's one of them. The last one I called them about, it was 300 miles away from where they said it picked up, and it delivered 200 miles away from where it delivered. So all of my prep work I'd done for what kind of rate I was going to want and all that, I had to throw out the window. And so that company that has their own load board, and a lot of you like them and a lot of you use them, they're the last company I go to look for a load. I look everywhere else first now, because if they'll lie to me before I'll even pick it up, they'll dang sure lie to me after I've got it in my trailer. Gary Cook says, last Thursday I delivered a load to Mantano, Illinois. Right across the street was a big Swift terminal. Wow. Yeah, they're love Swift, hate Swift. You got to give it to them. They got nice terminals. Hey, Midlife's got an idea. Channel member Midlife says Girl Scout cookies really win shippers and receivers over, and it makes the Girl Scouts out in front of the Walmart happy. That's a good idea. I've done some stuff in the past. I went to one place. They only had one forklift driver, and it's back when I still had my OSHA card. And I said, hey, can I drive the forklift? And I loaded my own trailer. And I don't have that card anymore, but back then I did. And, sometimes you'll get somewhere and you'll want to get loaded a day early or something. And you'll be like, hey, if you'll go and load me, I'll order us a pizza. And, you order a pizza and you get loaded a day early. You just never know. That's really beneficial if the place you're going to, if they'll take you early too. So there's some tricks of the trade you learn. $20 pizza will get you a long way. Or Midlife's even smarter than me, $5 worth of Girl Scout cookies. Trucker named Tim, channel member. To be honest, the lines will never do well at Cowboys stadiums, so I'm a little nervous. Well, I hope the Cowboys streak at Texas Stadium continues today, but the lines have me a little nervous. And we'll see what happens. But the Cowboys have got to figure out why they can't win on the road and why they can't stop the run. Pablo, what's going on, Mr. Todd? Not much. Thank you for being here, sir. See, I think this is helping my voice. My voice is sounding stronger again. I'll be putting you guys to sleep in no time. You guys just want me and Midlife to argue. I'm going to make it. You know what we should do, Midlife, if you're still here? We should do a members-only show or figure out how to do like a pay-per-view. And for like an hour, you and I should pick all these topics and just debate them. It'd be fun because Midlife's articulate enough. He could give me a good fight and might even win on a few topics. but he wouldn't be mad. We'd still be friends when it got over with. And he and I could make some money having a YouTube pay-per-view event where we just sit here and debate things. No fear, channel member laughing. Yes, sir. I hate that RGB's not here to use his free trial he got. Ted says, can you give Gary my number? I would like to talk to him about advance. Yes, sir. I'll do that right now. And then it'll be up to, do I have Gary's number? Hey, Gary, when you get a chance, text me because I'm not sure if I've got your number or not. Let me look. And I'll send you Ted's information. Surely I got it. I used to talk to Gary a lot, I thought. Gary's not on that phone. I lost a lot of contacts, so don't get upset with me if I don't have your number anymore. But sorry, I know this is interesting watching me play on my phone. I've got a Gary in here, but it's not Gary Cook. So Gary, text me, and I'll give you Ted's number. Trucker named Tim, channel member Nas, picking on Skyhook because he called me and said he's tired of hearing about electric vehicles. So I am instigating him. So a new deal here since Skyhook's not here to defend himself. To the next 10 people that call Skyhook, he will be purchasing you the electric vehicle of your choice. So if you've got Skyhook's number, contact him and tell him you want your electric vehicle, and he'll work out shipping and everything with you. Channel member No Fear, somebody go find that dummy that is always on the radio. I think he's in Arizona on 10. Who remembers the guy in West Memphis? Channel 22. Channel 22. Is he still out there? Gary Cook. Ted, look me up on Messenger. I'll give you all the info about Advanced Truck. There you go, Ted. Look for him on Messenger. I know I've got Gary Cook's email. I'm just not sure if I've got his phone number. The phone situation's been crazy lately. Channel member Midlife, No Fear, that's Mud Duck in the desert. Channel member Midlife, or No Fear says yes. Channel member Midlife, my new Peterbilt was not sending the correct odometer miles to logs. It wasn't costing me any money, but I researched it and provided them with the data. They fixed it somehow. That's cool. Hey, we got YouTube royalty in here. DIY Semi says, good evening, everyone. I was just watching one of his videos the other day. Lance says, DIY is late. Yes, sir, but better late than never. We're glad to get the big timers in here when we can get them. No Fear, channel member saying hi to DIY. Channel member Midlife. The broker can do one thing that the carrier driver can't: get the shipper to answer the phone and sign the contract. A trucker named Tim, channel member, you're funny. You're Scott's favorite driver. Tim, am I not everybody's favorite driver? Come on now. No, I'm not everybody's favorite driver. I'd like to be, but you can't do what I do without ruffling a few feathers, upsetting a few people. Speaking of that, my uncle may be getting upset right now because my wife must be getting out of work late. DIY Semi says, I'm not late. I'm early for the next live. There you go. I just heard doors slam. She may be here now. Channel member midlife. When I was at Millis, I hauled one broker load. It was Coyote. They called a dozen times while on a 10-hour break. After the third call, they were leaving messages. Yeah, I'll tell you what frustrates me about it. And Tim gets a kick out of me when I get frustrated about this. But all of them say, download this tracking app. We're going to track you. And then they call you and say, where are you? And I'm like, why did I download the tracking app? Just so you could call me and say where I'm at. Why don't I not download the tracking app and you just call me when you want to know where I am? And I don't get it. Or they'll email you and they'll say, what's your ETA to the shipper? And you tell them, and then like 15 minutes later, somebody else will call you and say, hey, what's your ETA to the shipper? And it's like, don't y'all forward emails? Don't y'all have a messenger service where you can tell each other, you know, what's going on, what's happening? And I never say that to them, but that's what I'm thinking in my mind. But sometimes I'll call Tim and vent. So I'm sure Tim's getting a kick out of me talking about how frustrated I get. Now I'm getting to where I kind of laugh at him, but it still bothers me a little bit. Gary Cook, Todd, do you ever post your truck on the DAT board? I have a few times, not very often, because I usually don't sit long. I usually book myself sometimes pretty far out in advance, but definitely I never seem to have that much trouble finding a load. But if I do get stuck somewhere, I will post myself. Lance says DIY is early for the Monday live. You mean the Tuesday live, Tuesday Trucker Talk. DIY is going to win the contest for the first one here on the Tuesday show. And we'll get Skyhook to give him a free electric vehicle of his choice. Gary Cook, most of you bigger brokers have their own load boards. Yep, that's true. And even some of the, like Landstar will post loads on the DAT board. But Landstar has their own load board too. I get on there and look sometimes, but not a lot. Channel member midlife, one good thing about delivering forklifts, pallet jacks, batteries, and parts, I can unload it if I need to. Yes, sir. Those are good loads right there. Gary Cook says, wipe that brown spot off your nose. I'm sorry, did I get it all? Did I get it all? Channel member midlife says, it doesn't have to be a fight, just facts with links. Well, we don't want to. It's hard to do facts with links because we don't know the direction the conversation will go. And that's the problem. Like today, I had no idea we were going to do a show on Teslas. And but I think it'd be fun. And I'd want to do it with somebody that could hold their own. I think you could put up a good fight. And you might even beat me in some areas. So it might be fun to go at it with you. But, I mean, the problem when we go down that road is either side can win at that point because the facts, it depends who's telling the facts. And we see this in politics a lot where, you know, they'll take a statistic and they'll twist it to where it fits what they want to say. And I'm sure you could show me 10 statistics that say Tesla is the best car money can buy. And I'm sure I could find 10 statistics that would say Tesla is the worst car you can buy. So we're probably not going to switch anybody's minds either way. We're probably not going to persuade anybody to agree with you or agree with me. But they'd probably show up to watch the battle of wits take place. A trucker named Tim, channel member, we haven't talked about electric vehicles in a while. And how about adding in how great California is as a political state? Well, yeah, I think it's well known on this channel that if I didn't live in Texas, I'd probably live in California because I share their political views. Hang on just a second. I got to unlock the door. I'm coming. I'm hearing things. I thought she was here, but she's not here. So I don't know where they're at. Let's see if I can see real quick. Then we'll jump back into the comments. Oh boy, I need to make a phone call. I may be in trouble. If I can type. Hey, you're on 4th. Did you not get her? Oh boy, she's gonna be mad at me. I wish I'd have known. Oh, did you? Okay. Oh, well, I'm still on the air. Okay, I'm on the air. I'll have to talk to you later. Okay, I'm back. Channel member, a trucker named Tim. If anybody wants to talk to me, Todd has my number. Gary Cook says, Todd, I'll email you my phone number. Okay, do you want me to give it to Ted? I think you emailed it to me before. I don't know why it's not saved in my phone. So here's what happened. I dropped my Google Pixel and cracked the screen. So I'm trying to transition everything over to this iPhone that AT&T made me an insane deal on. And somewhere in the transition, iPhone has tripled some of my contacts. Some of you are in my phone 4 or 5 times. Some of you aren't in there at all anymore. And there's no method or madness to it. So, I mean, it's been crazy. The whole transition progress has been nuts. Does DIY have any electric trucks for lease? No fear. Channel member, no fear. Does DIY have any electric truck leases? If he's still here, we'll ask him. DIY, when will you be transitioning your fleet of trucks to electric trucks? Channel member, a trucker named Tim. I was listening to Mud Duck in Ohio a few months ago. He's funny till he kept saying the same thing over and over. He needs new material. Gary Cook just emailed me his phone number. Good deal. Thank you. Channel member, a trucker named Tim. Don't get Todd going on the tracking apps. Yeah, if you love my talk on electric vehicles, you'll really love when I talk about broker tracking apps. We may make that a members only thing. I'll make videos about how much I love broker tracking apps. Hey, Ted, Gary said that he's going to email me his phone number. As soon as he does, I'll text him your phone number, and that way it'll force me to save his number again. I won't forget, and that way I'll have everybody's number. A trucker named Tim, channel member. I don't post my truck because you get brokers calling about awful paying loads that nobody wants. I've yet to have a broker call me about a good paying load. Yeah, the good ones pretty much sell themselves. Trucker named Tim, channel member. I'm going to dinner before the football game starts. Hope everyone has a great new year, and I'm glad I caught your last live, Todd. It's been a great show. Everyone be safe. I'm out. All right, man. Be careful out there. We're probably going to wrap this up pretty soon. Anyway, channel member Midlife, California raised fast food minimum wage $20 an hour. Pizza Hut franchise owners filed warning notices they are laying off 1,200 and 841. Wow. Yeah, a lot of people, that's another thing. They think, oh, well, we just need to raise the minimum wage. Well, when you raise minimum wage, two things happen. One, prices on just about everything goes up. And two, when you do that, a lot of companies, especially restaurant and service industries, just have less people there working. So you wait longer for stuff at your McDonald's, at your Wendy's, because they can't afford to hire as many employees. They have to expect the few that they've got to do more. Convenience stores will start going from 2 clerks to 1 clerk. And so then the store is messy. The bathrooms are messy because that one person's trying to do everything. Stephen Lyle Logistics. Todd, you haven't given your wife the keys to the stadium now that you traded it for the piano? No, because I guess you missed. Jerry Jones contacted me and said that he really wanted AT&T Stadium back. He was concerned I might sell it and the Cowboys wouldn't have a stadium anymore. And he asked me if I'd be willing to trade it back to him so that he could, he could continue to have the Cowboys there. And I realized financially it wasn't the smartest move, but I did. I traded it. I got my piano back. And now I'm back to writing hit songs on the piano and singing them for you here in these lives. Gary Cook says that's fine. A trucker named Tim, channel member, says DIY hates California. Yeah, but I know what an environmentally conscious man he is. And after the strong recommendation from Midlife, I believe that DIY will go totally electric within the next 6 months. Channel member Midlife, who, by the way, before I read his comment, channel member Midlife has been very helpful in helping me understand the iPhone. He's been a lifesaver, and he's about to give me more advice on how to fix my iCloud. And so I appreciate Midlife. He does a lot of helpful behind the scenes things. And here he is. He says, go to iCloud.com. Then you can edit and manage your contacts. Duplications happen because the contact is in more than one email account. Yeah, so I need to go to that website to do that. Okay, I'll try to get that done. Thank you. Ted says, okay, thank you, sir. And he wants to know why this is my last live. Well, it's my last live of 2023. If you follow the little dots over, it says my final live stream of 2023. With this being the 30th, I'm basically saying I probably won't do a live stream tomorrow. Might do a recorded video or something, but sadly, all good things must end. And this is my last live stream of 2023. Ted says, what do you think about Coach and Stewart? I don't know much about it, to be honest with you. It's my understanding that Stewart's doing something outside of trucking now, and Coach is doing something in trucking, but he's not telling everybody. They're closing YouTube channels and opening YouTube channels, and I really don't know what's going on. I've been so sick, I haven't followed none of that. I don't know what's going on. I wish everybody the best, whatever they decide to do. Channel member Midlife, please note I haven't suggested anyone buy the electric vehicle. See, Midlife, I think you should take it the other way. I think you should suggest everybody buy an electric vehicle and call Tesla and see if you can get a kickback. Maybe they come out with the Midlife edition Tesla. This might be your retirement plan right here. The Midlife edition Tesla comes with special wheels and a graphics package or something. Channel member No Fear getting a good laugh. Channel member Midlife, if you were using a Mac, you could edit them there, but on the iPhone, it's difficult. Yeah, I'm still using a Windows laptop. I got the iPhone watch and I've got the 15 Pro Max, and like I said, there's things I like about it, but I'm not totally sold on all the hype. I don't see myself going any further into the Apple world unless my wife converts over or something. And she's got a Motorola flip phone that Razr Plus or whatever it is. She loves that phone, so I don't see us doing any phone switches for a couple of years anyway. Ted says, okay, you had me worried. Nope, that's the closest to clickbait I did. It's my final stream of this year. Ted says they closed their company down. What company, Ted? Channel member Midlife, it should be noted the FMCSA failed to come out with their speed limiter rule yesterday, as they promised. Yeah, they're opening a can of worms there, and I saw some YouTubers trying to clickbait. Oh, it's going to be 68. It's going to be that. It's not going to be nothing for a long time. They're going to come out with a rule at some point, and it's going to get challenged in court. I don't care what they make it at. If they said the speed limiter is 150 for trucks, somebody would challenge it. If they said the speed limiter for trucks is 10 miles an hour, somebody would challenge it. So it'll take some time to go through the courts and all, and it'll ultimately probably depend who ends up in office. It'll probably get settled in the next presidential term sometime. Gary Cook says, I don't think Coach is much of a truck driver. Maybe he don't like being on the road as much as he used to. I haven't been following him close enough to make a fair comment that's fair to him. For whatever reason, well, let me say this. It's hard to work at any trucking company as a YouTuber. And so sometimes it's easy to think, oh, well, I can't believe that YouTuber did this or that YouTuber did that. But it really is tough because the companies love you when you love them. And the second you have anything kind of cross to say, they don't love you anymore and they're on you. So I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know if he's having personal problems at home. I don't know, if he's got side gigs where he's making money at the house. I don't know why he doesn't want to say what trucking company he's going to next. Being a YouTuber, I kind of get why you want to wait before you reveal that information. But I don't have any firsthand knowledge. I hadn't talked to him in a while. I hadn't talked to him on the phone in months, probably 7 or 8 months. I've had some texts with him, but they've been a while back, several weeks ago. And I don't have any inside information to give you. I don't, honestly, it doesn't shape my life one way or the other. I don't care if he's working at the Dollar General and he's happy doing it, or if he's driving a truck pulling triples across the country. I would like him to do a YouTube video so we can kind of know what's going on. kind of like I did today. I was sick and everybody's worried about me. So I wanted to show that I was still alive. I wasn't in the hospital. And that's what's going on there. The FMCSA put out 68 a few weeks ago by accident. Yeah, we'll see what happens. It wouldn't. I don't think they realize what a train wreck it's going to be whenever truck on the highway is going 68. And I don't think it will. I think the companies that are governed below 68 now will stay that way. Ted says they shot the DOT number down and sold their truck. Ah, we're talking about Jason. Now I've caught up with you. Yeah, which again, without getting firsthand information or knowing everything, I probably should not say too much about it on here. I don't want to, because here's what will happen. My words will get twisted and it'll get back to them that I said something negative, and I don't know anything negative. I can tell you with a clean conscience, I don't have a clue where either one of them's working. I don't know what either one of them's future plans are. I wish them the best. We run in different circles. They were pulling a reefer running team. I'm running the spot market doing solo work. We don't even work for the same company. If I saw them in a truck stop, I'd probably say hi to them. But that's about as far as I can go with it. You guys probably know a lot more about it than I do. That's also true. Channel member Midlife reminds us all that the speed limiter didn't start under Biden. It's been in the works for years. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, it started under George Bush, which I was very disappointed about that. I don't think anybody's blaming Biden for it, but there's a possibility. Well, even among the presidential candidates, if certain Republicans got it, that this could go away. And there's a possibility it wouldn't, depending on. I don't think it matters so much Republican or Democrat as it does who the transportation secretary is and who ends up in the office eventually in the White House. Channel member Midlife, the biggest issue Coach and Stewart ran into was the brokers did not want to work with the new authority, which is the same issue Road Scholar brought out. Yeah, but I mean, everybody knows that going into it. And I don't want to play armchair quarterback and say I would have done this or I would have done that. It's a tough market right now. A lot of people are failing. I almost failed. They seemed like they had a pretty good deal when they were running for that guy in Florida, doing the concerts and things like that. But for some reason that didn't pan out. And again, I don't have the inside knowledge. I don't know what went on there. But yeah, the first 6 months is difficult. That's why I don't do it. I got it made now. Scott's established. He's been doing it a few years. He's got a good reputation with the brokers. When I call in and give their MC number, they're like, "Oh yeah, we work with y'all," and so that's why I do what I do. Could I make a little extra money if I had my own authority? Maybe, maybe not. The first 6 months, definitely not. Road Scholar, I would have liked him to have contacted me. I'd liked him to talk to SRO about doing what I'm doing. I think he's a smart guy. He would have done well on it. But I think with Road Scholar, from what I've seen in his videos, he wanted to be home more, and so this intermodal thing he's doing now gets him home a lot more. Gary Cook, my goal for 2024 is making trucking more enjoyable for myself. Well, that's a good goal to have. Hang on, I got to send a text because this situation is spiraling out of control. Okay, sorry about that. Gary Cook says, I believe Coach is getting a military retirement, so don't need to be on the road. Yeah, I haven't heard that. I really don't know. This last week I've been so sick that I was in survival mode. Channel member midlife, one thing positive about speed limiters is that it would decrease capacity. That is true. Rates will go up if speed limiters come into effect. I agree with you, midlife. Gary Cook, I like Coach. I think he's a decent human being, so I'm not saying anything negative about Coach. Well, here's the deal. Somehow, I've become the Coach representative, and we're not near as close as everybody thinks we are, and we don't communicate near as often as everybody thinks we do. We know each other. He's got my number. I've got his number. As far as I know, he doesn't have any ill will towards me. And as far as I know, I don't have any ill will towards him. But we're not fishing buddies. We don't go on cruises together or camping trips. We've never had a discussion about team driving together. Nothing like that. I think, I don't want to speak for him. You can ask him. I think he wishes me well. And I'm not going to speak for him, but I think he wishes me well. And that's about as far as it goes. I'm not under any proclivities that he watches every one of my videos. And he knows I don't watch every one of his videos. If he's talking about something I'm interested in, I'll click in for a little bit. And I'm sure if I'm talking about something he's interested in, he'll click in for a little bit. But a lot of you here in this chat, I talk to you far more often than I do to him. And a lot of you in this chat know me far better than he knows me. Again, nothing negative about him. I don't know his health situation or his need or no need for disability or anything like that, or his medications. We've never discussed his medical history, or he's never asked me my opinion about any of that. That's personal stuff, and whatever he wants to do is fine with me. But I'm like the rest of you. I'm a casual follower, and I'm curious. I like to see what's going on. Channel member midlife, I love trucking. The easiest part is driving the truck. The planning is my favorite part. Yeah, I like it. My favorite part is talking to you guys and negotiating rates on loads and planning myself. I really enjoy planning myself. If I got to where I couldn't be a truck driver anymore, I think I would enjoy being a planner or maybe a dispatcher or something like that. Let's see here. Hang on. This show has had some distractions that I wasn't expecting tonight. Okay, good. Everything's cleared up. Gary Cook says Trucker Todd's also a decent human, and he's a funny man. You take that back, Gary Cook. Let's see here. Channel member midlife. I run a rolling split sleeper berth for days. I've done that a couple of times. I typically, on Tuesdays and Thursdays when I'm doing these lives, I have to run a split sleeper. But I need to clear that up because a couple of the people tried to call and get me in trouble. Never do I run illegal, and never do I drive tired. Some of you have called me and you say, how far are you driving or not? And you hear me say, until I get tired. I've got 6 hours left. I'll either drive it till I get tired or something like that. And that's still true. I don't violate the logs, and I don't do anything dangerous or illegal. Hey, hey, Racing Ray and my wife are here. They're seeing my mess and my
I just didn't. I've never been in AT&T Stadium, so I just wanted to come look.
Oh, I can get you back in AT&T Stadium.
Oh, we're not there now?
No, we're in my living room in my vast mansion.
Paula, play the piano for us.
Let's see here. Let's get back into AT&T Stadium. Now we're in AT&T Stadium again.
Oh, okay, go Cowboys.
Yeah, getting ready for the game.
If you want to come over and watch it later, you're welcome.
Okay. Are you not going to be working?
No, I'm fixing to go home.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for grabbing her.
Sorry I was late.
That's okay.
I've got a story to tell you about that, but it'll wait.
Okay, I'll call you when I get off.
Thanks for coming and getting me.
You're welcome.
All right, the comments have died off. I guess I'll go ahead and wrap this show. We've gone 3.5 hours. Oh, my goodness. I never thought my voice would hang on this long. All right, folks, I want to tell everybody once again, Happy New Year. Thank y'all for watching me and this whole year, and we'll see you next year. Y'all have a good